Well, hello, hello. We are here for week 1 of MaREC Madness. Jim, can you believe it?
I can't believe it's already MaREC. It feels like just yesterday was February, but
Yeah,
here we are. It's really happening.
Where did February go? I blinked and it went from January to MaREC. Just like that.
Just
Turn
like
the calendar.
That. It's amazing.
And here we were in MaREC.
Well, I'm excited to be here, man. I look forward to this every year. And Taylor, you do such a fantastic job putting this together. I'm so excited. We're going to see some great action tonight. And not just tonight, but throughout the entire month of MaREC, really, if you think about it.
Yeah. So, welcome everyone in watching live on Twitch at twitch.tv/recpoker. Thanks for tuning in. If you're also watching this on YouTube a bit late, come on back and thanks for the follow, KT Poker. Come on back and watch these streams live when we go every Tuesday here in March, except for March 19th.
19th.
We'll talk
but that's
about
okay.
that.
There's some fun stuff happening on that day as well. But yeah, get in here on Tuesdays, all MaREC long.
So this is week 1, March 5th. We're going live just a little bit early. We want to do the preamble, if you will. Tell everyone about MaREC Madness, what we're doing here, that fun stuff. And then next week, so this week we're doing half of the round 1 matchups. We're starting with 16 people in this bracket. Tonight we're going to play 4 of the matches. We're going to go down to 12. Next week we're going to play another 4 of the first round matches, and then we'll be down to 8. We're going to take a 1-week break. We'll come back with the Elite 8 matchups, getting down to our final 4. And then in April, we're going to trickle into April, which is unfortunate, but how it goes sometimes. We're going to be playing the final 4 to completion that week. So it's going to be fun. It's going to be exciting. We're going to have a lot of poker ahead of us. But tonight we have 4 matchups ahead of us, so we'll see how those are going to go. But I'm excited. Thanks for joining me in the booth, Jim. We're going to commentate on all the matchups that we have here tonight, and it's going to be a blast.
It sure is. It was too much action for 1 month. We had to spill into April. When you've got this much exciting stuff happening, it was really inevitable. So what can you do? It's just too much fun. Too much fun to pack into 1 month.
And too much action that we had to take a week break in between. Last time we got too overloaded with all the fun, all the action that we had going on, so we just had to take a pause. We learned our lesson. We're going to take a pause, build up that hype for the Elite 8 and the Final 4, and it should be good after that. So, so exciting. If you didn't know, you can go to rec.poker/MaREC. I've got it up on the screen now. Rec.poker/MaREC. And you can find out all about the bracket. So it's a 16-person bracket. We're playing it through March here. Here's the times for all the matchups. It's everything that we just talked about. You know, the first 4, another first round 1 matchups, the second, and finally the conclusion on April 2nd. So all that fun there. We also have the bracket here. You can use to click on the brackets. Cool. You can make your predictions. You can post your predictions in the chat. But we have our bracket up here. There's a typo. We must have taken this before. We played down to we had matchups throughout the year, which everyone can compete in and earn their spot into MaREC Madness. Eric Romo had a spot, but he opted out. So we're gonna get Graphics in his spot.
Roger Schuette's in there.
Roger Schuette.
He's our ringer. We brought him in to
bring in the ringer
to upset the apple cart. That's right. And if you're listening, Roger, such a great shout out to Roger Schuette. What a fantastic guy, who basically does all this work, post production work on the podcast every week. OG Brett Poker dude. I'm glad to see him here in the tournament. Sorry Eric couldn't make it, but it's his loss, and we're in a pretty exciting spot here with Roger, I think.
Yeah. So we have our 16-person bracket as we go through this. Like I said, there are ways for you to win. We play this in March, but on every other month that is a multiple of 3, we do a heads-up tournament at Rec Poker through our home game. And if you win that heads-up shootout-style tournament, you get a spot in MaREC Madness the next year. So Eric Romo did that this past year. So did Ron Payton, K-Poker Wannabe. And then Jasper Jr., Pat Barry also won his way into the tournament. And then we also give out another spot for the Player of the Year, which why am I blanking on the player of the year this past year? Oh, that was Eric Romo. Sorry. Yeah. K-Poker Wannabe, Aces, and Jasper Jr. won their way in. Eric Romo was the player of the year. So you're talking about ringer. We lost the player of the year ringer coming back. So those are the 4 that won their way into the tournament, but we only have 3 so far this year. Otherwise, it's filled with Wrecking Crew members, plus
and
1 additional entry this year. He's showing up here as Chicago Joey. Most of them know Joey Ingram. He does a lot of podcasting out there. He's kind of a specialist when it comes to PLO and heads up and all those things. He's going to be playing in MaREC Madness this year. So we've got the ringer in there. We keep saying ringer, but like really this one is the ringer when we're talking through this. So watch out for Joe Ingram. We're going to be seeing one of his matchups tonight, believe it or not. So we will have Joe Ingram. He's going to be the final matchup that we watch tonight. But really interesting to have Joe Ingram join us for MaREC Madness. He had mentioned it when he was on the podcast, like he's interested. He wants to see what it's about. And guess what? We got him. He's going to be competing against 15 Rec Poker members. I guess you can. Yeah. He is a Rec Poker member too, but
that's true. Yeah. And it's amazing. It's just one of the great things about Rec Poker. You know, we've been doing this for long enough. People are starting to know what's going on. They know we love the game. They know we're a good cause for recreational poker. And people want to get involved and hang out and do cool stuff like this with us. So thank you so much to Joe for putting this together and joining us. And good luck to him tonight, because Pat Barry's no slouch. No. He won his way in here as well. So I'm just saying, this is we're going to see some real matches tonight, I think.
Yeah, and it's tough with Heads Up Poker. The way that we have these matches designed is roughly about 40 minutes of play. That's kind of our goal when we set these up, with the structure, the amount of chips, all those types of things. So it's really set up to be relatively quick. It's so we can get through all these matchups. We can't be here all night, playing 2-hour-long heads-up matches until someone falls asleep and we can't crown a winner. No, we want it to be relatively quick. So they're about 40 minutes in length. So really, there's a lot of luck. Like, how often have you played 40 minutes of poker and gotten bad hands for 40 minutes or gotten really good hands? Like, a lot can happen within this space. And that's part of the fun of MaREC Madness. It's just like that basketball thing that uses the incorrect terminology for this month.
They totally ripped that up from us, by the way. I saw that in a paper the other day, and I was like, what? What are they doing? It's like they're stealing the idea from MaREC Madness and applying it to NCAA basketball. What a ripoff.
Yeah. I'm assuming you have your lawyers on this.
Oh, yes. It started with the lawyers. I also got Poppy himself. We're going to get to the bottom of this conspiracy, as far as I'm concerned. This goes all the way to the top, Taylor.
Wow.
And we need to get to the bottom of it. So it's a top to bottom situation. It's very complicated.
I'm very happy to hear that, because I was kind of thrown off, but I'm glad someone's on it.
Me too.
But yeah, no, I mean, heads up matches, a lot can happen. Like the other bracket style NCAA men's basketball thing that exists out there, you can make predictions for MaREC Madness as well. So again, rec.poker/MaREC. You can view the interactive bracket where you can go and you can make your picks. It'll take you to here and you can click on what you want. It's really simple to go through here and just kind of pick people of who you think is going to win, and it automatically fills the bracket out. As you go through there, you can take your results, copy them, or you can just click this button and then go to the link that's here. It's our forums. It'll take you to the forums where you can post your predictions in our forum and talk about all the matchups. So we already have picks in there. Poker Geek MN has made his picks. Evil Roy has made his picks. 5x5 has made his picks. Ace Rag Off. So ton of different picks that are out there. We're going to be doing some standings. We're going to keep track of it. So if you're watching right now live on Twitch, go fill it out if you haven't already. It's super easy to do. You just saw me click through it. I almost made all the predictions. I did all the first round. But you can go through and make a ton more as you go through here. So go out there, post them, be part of our forums, and we'll see how the standings all stack up with everyone's predictions. But
That's right. And there's a prize too. It's free to enter, but you can win some prizes for the best brackets. So don't hesitate. Get in there and make your picks before we start revealing the winners as the matches unfold in front of us here tonight.
And I can't guarantee that you're going to win, but I can guarantee that you're not going to win if you don't make your prediction. So
that's true. That's math. That's
all
math.
You have to do is just go out there and make those predictions. So go out there now. You still have 15 minutes before the first matches start. We're going to start them right around the top of the hour, but go out there and check it out. Yeah, and then if you want to know who our previous champions were, worth calling it out. This is year number 4 for us. First year we did this, Taylor Maas got first place. 2022,
Naturally.
John Somsky got second.
There he is.
And then last year's champion, Keith Brandt, also known as Monkey System, who's going to kick off our very first matchup this year. So we're going to see the last year's champion come back and try and defend his title right away in the very first match. So exciting matchups, a ton of fun stuff going through here, and I'm ready. We start 15 minutes, but I'm ready. This is exciting.
And a shout out to John Somsky, who you mentioned there, the winner in the previous year. He manages the Home Game Club, and puts in a ton of time and effort every day, week, and month, keeping that organization running. And it's a big part of what we do here. So big shout out to John Somsky for all the work he does putting that together. He also helps with a lot of the other stuff around the scene, behind the scenes around here. So we got some of these Wrecking Crew members. Like I say it on the show, but you folks get used to hearing my voice on the podcast. But I am really just a small piece of the group here, a small cog in the machine of Rec Poker. And it's the Wrecking Crew that makes the magic happen around here. So it really hats off to everybody. And thanks to all the Wrecking Crew members for making Rec Poker great. It's great to be here.
Right. You always say it takes a village, a gang, a crew, all that stuff. Now we're going to have the crew battling out. This is a lot of the Wrecking Crew.
It's true.
All of these people that didn't win their way in here contribute in one way or another towards Rec Poker. And one, this is fun. It's great to give them an invite to it. Two, it's great for everyone to kind of see our different forces that we have behind the scenes getting together to battle it out in the game that we love so much in a heads-up style bracket to crown supremacy. So a ton of fun. We do it every night in the home game. Not all of us are always available every night in the home game, but this is kind of the one way for all of us to get together and have those bragging rights for the next year. So fun and exciting for all of us.
Yeah, that's right. And let's just talk about some fun and exciting stuff that's coming up. So on Tuesdays in MaREC, all MaREC long, as we talked about. So tonight's MaREC 5th, and we're having round 1 battles. Next week on MaREC 12th, that Tuesday night, we'll be finishing with round 1. Then we're taking a week off on March 19th, but don't let that stop you. We're doing our book study, which usually meets on Wednesdays, is meeting one day early on Tuesday, March 19th, where we're going to have Alex Fitzgerald himself, Assassinato, is going to come and do a Q&A with our members, because we just finished we're just finishing his book right now. And one of the great things about our premium membership is when the book study takes on a new book, we talk to the author, we arrange for them to come in afterwards, and our members that have been studying the book get to talk to the author, and it's a really fantastic feature that we do here. One of our longest running premium member activities, I think, so hats off to Rob for putting that together. Then March 26th, we are right back here. Taylor's going to be in the booth. I'm going to be out in Dublin for the Irish Poker Open, so I'll be watching in spirit like a fan, just like everybody else. And then April 2nd, like you say, Taylor, the semis and the finals all wrapping up in April on Tuesday, April 2nd. And then we're going to be back to our usual Tuesday rotation of the online play-in hangs at 9 o'clock Eastern. I mean, we've got so many events going on. If you go to rec.poker/events, we've got literally every single day we have something going on. And a lot of it's free. We've got a lot of home games. We've got a bunch of free stuff. Some of it's just for our premium members. But I would encourage you, if you like what we're doing and you want to get more involved, it doesn't cost a penny. Head on over to rec.poker and sign up. All it takes is an email address and a smile, although we do insist on both, as you know. So come get involved and join the fun. It's a great group, and you'll have a great time. And you'll get better at poker. So, I mean, where's the downside? I don't see it.
Yeah. And I'll do a selfish plug for myself as well, because you're watching this on Twitch. If you're watching live, if you're watching on YouTube, check out the Twitch channel. But I do stream every Wednesday on Twitch at the same time as our home game starts. So that's 9 p.m. Eastern, 8 p.m. Central. I stream the home game. Wednesday nights are the nights that we do the No Limit Hold'em Player of the Year series on the first Wednesday. The second Wednesday is the Mixed Game Player of the Year. So I play both of those live on Twitch. The other weeks we have kind of double game nights because we play the No Limit Hold'em series and the Mixed Game Practice to go along with that. But all those Wednesdays we're streaming live on Twitch when I'm around, asterisk. But come on back. It's really simple. While you're playing, come hang out in the chat. We'll talk about hands. We'll have some giveaways if you're in the chat. So come on back and check us out. Give us a follow. All that fun stuff. So selfish plug for Twitch here.
Well, and you know, it's a bit selfless though, to be honest, because Taylor is, and he'll tell you, a hell of a poker player. But he's a multiple year player of the year, Rec Poker champion. And he actually is very generous with his thought process while he's streaming his play. He really talks through his action. He talks about the factors that he's considering while he's making decisions. Talks about opponents' ranges and tendencies. Watching him stream is actually a really good way to kind of get inside his head and see what an excellent poker player thinks about in real time while playing. So I do, you know, you already know the address here, twitch.tv/recpoker. Virtually every Wednesday of the year he's in here streaming, and I'd encourage folks to come and check it out. It's a great feature, and Taylor's really grown into it. I will say, the first couple you were like a little awkward finding your feet, like a little baby duckling, but that was like 4 years ago or something like that.
A while ago, yeah. We're hitting our stride
now. It's amazing.
Yeah, and all this is coming from it too. So we have MaREC Madness that has become a little bit easier with all that like streaming experience. But yeah, all good stuff. Yeah, no, come on back. I answer all questions. I talk through a bunch of things. Yeah, I'm pretty much an open book. I'm there to try and help people and explain how I'm thinking about different things. So yeah, come on back. Check out the stream.
Mm-hmm.
We do giveaways, like I mentioned. We're also going to do giveaways tonight. So, Jim, we did this last year. We're going to repeat it and run it again. So, last year we did this. Everyone's going to have an individual chance to win a prize. And there's 4 matchups tonight. You get 4 chances to win our giveaway tonight. So, before each of the matchups, all you have to do is guess what hand you think is going to win. I do not care about suits. I just care what are the 2 cards in their hands. So if you want to guess Ace King, just put Ace King in the chat. If you want to guess Pocket 8s, put 2 8s in the chat. I don't need to know you think it's going to be the Ace of Diamonds and the King of Clubs. Ace King works totally fine. So
not even suited versus unsuited.
Not even suited versus offsuit. I don't care. Just what are the 2 ranks of the cards that's going to be on the winning hand, and we've had some decent luck with it. I think last year, out of the 16 matchups, I think we gave away 2 or 3 prizes, something like that. So some people hit pretty well. But I believe in Rec Poker Nation that we can do even better than that this year. So we're going to have 15 matchups as we go through this. 15 chances for everyone to win. The more people that guess in the chat, the more likely it is that someone's going to win. But we'll be asking you now and throughout the night as we're moving on to our next match. Go into the chat. Post what hand you think is going to win. And if it's correct, we're going to reach out. We're going to make you a Rec Poker Premium member. And if you're already a Rec Poker Premium member, we'll apply it in a similar way based off what you're looking for. So, already got 1 guess in there. KT Poker guessing Jack 8. Boom. First guess for the first game. If Jack 8's the winning hand, we've got a winner. But we'll have to see. Then, we're also going to do an additional prize giveaway, and that's based off of what Jim says here. When I ask Jim, what is your favorite card in the 52 card deck that's out there, and if that card that Jim picks is the winning hand of any of the 4 matchups tonight, we're going to just do a random draw for all the people that guessed and do a prize giveaway just for that. So, Jim, do you by chance have a favorite card in the deck that you would like to pick?
I mean, you know me, Taylor. I like them all. I like playing all the cards. I don't think there are any bad cards in the deck. So it's like choosing between my babies here is what you're asking me to do. Mm-hmm. But I will choose one for the purpose of this contest because it's half of the hand that I won a really big pot in a really big important tournament several years ago. And that is the 9 of clubs.
Okay.
So that will be our magic hand.
The 9 of clubs. Okay.
9 of clubs. Yeah.
All right. What was the other half of the hand, if I might ask?
It was an ace. It was the ace of clubs.
But the 9 is what did it?
The 9 is what did it. The 9 is what paired the board paired on the river and made my full house over the guy's flush that I should have lost to. So it was a pretty big spot.
Nice. Well, the 9 clubs coming in clutch. We'll see if it has the luck for everyone else in Rec Poker Nation. So,
got a good feeling about it. I do.
Yeah. So, all right.
While we're talking about guessing in the YouTube during the Twitch chat, by the way, that reminds me, if you're enjoying this tonight, you must love free video broadcasts about poker. And so I should mention, every Monday night we do a podcast on YouTube that's free to watch and free to join, and you can ask questions in real time in the YouTube chat with our guests. We have a fantastic guest every Monday night, and we give away some prizes there too. It's another fantastic free poker broadcast. It's we talk strategy, we do interviews, and we try and support Food Bank each week with our raffle, with our giveaway. So while we're talking about this sort of thing, I just want to mention that food insecurity is something that affects a lot of people around the world, and it might be someone that you don't expect. It might be someone in your neighborhood or your community that needs a little help putting food on the table, feeding a child or a loved one. And a great way for you to make a difference in your community, in your neighborhood, in the world generally, is to donate a few dollars, a few hours of your time, or some non-perishable food items to a food bank near you. So if you just pull out your phone and Google food banks near me, you'll find an organization that could use your help, and I'd encourage you to take that step and do it. But yeah, I also would encourage you to come out to YouTube on Monday nights at 7:30 Eastern, and you'll have a fantastic time and win some prizes, and you'll learn a little about poker by listening to the Rec Poker podcast. So I hope you have fun tonight, and I hope you join us next Monday as well.
All right. Well, we're in the final stretch here, about 5 minutes till we'll start the matchups here. So we got 4 matchups for us tonight. The very first one I already preluded to. Keith Brandt Monkey System, our returning champion, is going to be going against Eric Kumbinkley.
Right.
Eric Gin.
Eric Gin.
Should be a great one.
Binkley.
Yeah, two great matchups. I'm excited to watch this one. This one of the matchups that we have tonight kind of stuck out to me as 2 really solid players, and I'm really looking forward to seeing how they stack up against one another. One who's proven themselves in heads-up matchups, and another one who I just know is a skilled player, so it's going to give Keith some trouble to start here.
Yeah, so Keith is an experienced tournament player, and he runs our Monkeys Off-Table Tools study group every month on the second Thursday of the month, where he uses tools like Range Trainer Pro and Advanced Poker Training to study and dig into the theme of the month that month. Eric Gin plays a ton of cash. He's more of a cash player. And every Thursday night, he runs our Play, Explain, and Learn on this very same platform that you're going to see MaREC Madness play out tonight on Poker Now. And it's a very interesting format. One of the best things we do, I think. Every Thursday night, you can play along with Eric and some premium members and really get a lot out of that. So these two players, they both really know their stuff, and I think it's going to take some setup decks to get this over with, honestly. I'm really looking forward to seeing these two battle.
I think we could see some action in the very first one.
I don't think
either of these two are they're not gonna shy away from one another. They're gonna be ready to go, and I think that could be very interesting as we kind of go through this. So
definitely.
I'm looking forward to it. And then to round out the other matchups, we have match 2 is going to be Kim Kilroy, Pet Vet, versus Michael Babker, M. Babker in the home games. So it's another one. Kim does a weekly study group going over hands.
Monthly hand history group.
Monthly hand history.
Which is great. And then she also runs our travel forum, and she also runs a poker empowerment group talking about women and other people that don't always feel comfortable at the table, sort of focused on ways to make everyone feel comfortable at the table. So that's Kim's a fantastic member of the Wrecking Crew, has been very active there. And Michael Babker is another one of those people like Roger Schutte, who we have to shout out, who's been so generous with his time and expertise with us, stepping in as our technical director. And he's been an amazing asset to the organization. We couldn't do what we do without him. So Michael Babker, thank you so much if you're watching. And good luck against Kim, because she's a freaking technician, man.
Yeah.
I mean, good luck, man.
Yeah.
That's all I'm saying.
Yeah. It's going to be... Yeah. Sorry.
And then we got Joseph Wills.
Yep.
Taking on East Coast Bitter, B Jammin, Ben Enslow.
Yeah. 2 of our more new Wrecking Crew members, right?
That's right. Yeah, they joined last year, and this one's going to be a real battle. These 2 guys just love the game. The game. I've been so pleased to watch them come up in the game over the last little while, and they're both making great contributions on the Wrecking Crew. Joseph runs the Poker Oasis home game down in Vegas, and of course Ben's about to be Papa Ben, so he's got everything to play for.
And he streams on Twitch too, so twitch.tv/bjammin. Is there numbers after it? I always forget. BJammin96.
Is it 96?
Yeah, BJammin96. Yeah. We got there. We eventually got there. Give him a follow. He did post in chat, so if you can see that, go click on his name. There he is.
Yeah.
Click and go click follow. Really easy to do. Give him a follow for his Twitch channel. I believe he streams like Fridays and Saturdays. Something
Fridays
like that.
And Saturdays. He's real consistent with it. BJammin96. And Taylor, you're aging yourself by thinking 86. Come on, man.
No, I said 96.
Oh, did you? Okay.
Yeah. Right. I'm recording this. We'll go back and check the tape later.
We'll go back and check the tape. And then there's the last match, the big one. Pat Barry versus Joe Ingram.
Right.
Pat Barry's been a Rec Poker Premium member forever. One of the OGs of the organization, really. And so I can't wait to see what he can unleash on Poppy himself. I'm so excited for this whole matchup. This is going to be a fantastic slate of matches.
Yeah, what an initiation or welcoming for Jasper Jr. Hey, Jasper Jr., you won your way into MaREC Madness. You get to face Joe Ingram. Yeah.
Yeah, it's going to be a fun one, man.
But we're at the top of the hour. Are you ready for this, Jim?
I think I'm ready for it.
All right, let's go. We'll get
kick this baby off.
Get the timer going. We'll start the countdown. We'll get the matches starting in about a minute and 52 seconds here, and we'll have the matchups ahead of us. So, again, Keith versus Eric showing up first. Really excited about this one. A repeat champion. Eric, I can't remember how he's done in years past, but I do remember for sure the best bluff that we've seen in MaREC Madness goes to Mr. Binkley. I believe he went for a 3-bet jam all in on the river, which I'm using correctly because he bet as a bluff, got raised, and jammed all in as a bluff, and blew my mind. Like, you never see that, but Binkley said, I got this. So that's why, when you were talking about this before, Jim, I said, this could be crazy. This could be an exciting match to start us off.
This is what happens when you play those deep stack cash games. You get access to all these fantastic river lines that would never come up at 10 or 15 or 20 big blinds deep. So he knows what he's doing. Taylor, do you have a prediction for tonight? Do you want to sort of jinx someone or someone, or what do you think?
It's always tough to make these predictions. I didn't post my predictions in the forums. I should have. I was trying to convince everyone to, and I didn't. If I were picking this match, I would go with Binkley here, but it's very, very close. Mostly from the fact that, like, I know Eric's capable. I also know Keith ran really hot last year, so maybe that heat's going to run out, and Eric will be able to sneak out a win. But I think this could be very close and very exciting.
I'm going to take the other side of it because I mean, Keith, he's a proven winner. He's a proven winner. You can't argue with those kind of results. So let's see. All I know is it's going to be good. So here we go. It's happening.
Here we go. There we go. All right, we're in. We're starting. MaREC Madness time is here.
It's really happening. Wow.
And
okay.
Exciting 3-10 versus 3-9 to start us off.
And this is one of those great spots where you've got a pair versus a draw, and this often just comes down to who's gonna put their chips in. And with these two, there's no shortage of opportunities to put your chips in.
So I wish this hand would have been, I don't know, like 5 hands in or something like this. I feel like neither of them is going to go crazy here at the start, but this had the potential of going crazy. Flush draw plus straight draw versus a pair. Even though Binkley's behind, I feel like he's going to ultimately end up winning this hand. But,
oh yeah, he's got so much equity. So much equity in this hand. This is actually, I think this might be an overbet spot when you've got so much equity and so little showdown value.
But he does brick now. So.
He does, so that's not great. That's not what he was hoping.
Not what he was looking for. But how crazy are we going to go fighting for the 10 big blinds in the middle here with our double mesh draw?
Oh, there we go. Oh, easy there.
Yeah.
Easy
we'll
there, Hold on. Let's get.
Okay.
All right.
I think what happened there was it went check on the river.
I think so too.
But
it was probably good. It's probably a good.
Just making sure we get the stream and stuff all running up here. It should be good after this, but I think
it's
what happens.
It's the first week game.
Yeah, match week. 1. We'll figure this out. Like I think we're good now. But yeah, I'm seeing more guesses come in the chat. So yes, if you have not entered your guess for the giveaway, guess which hand you think is going to win this matchup. Go out there and enter your guess. You don't need suits. You don't need anything. Just give me the 2 ranks of the cards that you think are going to be in the winning hand. I saw BJM guess 9-7, but he was thinking he should have guessed 96 since his Twitch name. But we'll give him 97 because that's what he guessed. We got 4s being guessed there. So yeah. How does this work? Is there a time delay? Yeah, we have a delay just so you can't watch live on the stream because that would be unfair. So we have, you saw some of the nuances that can come with the time delay, but I'm hoping it should be good from here on out.
That's right. The broadcast is live. The commentary is live.
We are live.
But the action happened on a delay so that for the integrity of the game. We don't want Binkley and Keith accidentally opening up Twitch and seeing their opponent's cards.
How fun would that be? That would be no fun at all.
That's right.
0 fun.
Uh-oh, pocket 5's coming in hot.
Oh, I know which hand's going to lose here. But these are the classic interesting spots when it comes to heads up. It's pair versus 2 over cards, and like how does it play out? How aggressive are you with the 2 overs or the pair versus the others? And how do you want that all to play out? So these are always so interesting in my mind, how everyone's going to play it. My guess is Binkley plays it in position, but he chooses to go for the 4-bet here, which I can't blame him either. I mean, I'd pick a better hand than pocket 5s, but he is technically ahead in this situation.
That's right. And especially when you're playing heads up, all your hands get promoted in your hierarchy. So, anything with an ace is much, much stronger than it would be full ring. And same for pocket pairs. You're going to be 3-betting with a wider range. You're going to be opening it with a wider range, so you should be 4-betting with a wider range. That makes sense.
Yeah. And that's a tough adjustment for a lot of people to make because we're so used to playing full ring with more people, and it's like 4-bet pocket 5s, never. But in heads up, you got to think you're playing against much weaker ranges. The actions people are going to take against you are going to be much weaker, so you can promote all those different things, just like you were saying. So keeping it relatively even with those hands. We saw Monkey System win the first one. We saw Binkley win that big 4-bet hand. So yeah, it's going to be a lot of this. We're going to see it on a lot of the matchups, a lot of the yo-yoing when we look at the chip stacks, when we look at the position of each player as it pairs ranking against each other. So Always interesting to see the dynamic that we're currently in. Because it's very even, but you can go from being a 2-1 chip lead to even incredibly quickly. What does that do to your psyche? How are you approaching this match? Are you on tilt? All those things. So Binkley turning his gut shot draw into a bluff here and bricking out on the river, but versus this board, Monkey System still has to be somewhat concerned. Clubs came in, 10 now makes a straight. Will Binkley fire his misdraw, even though a lot of other draws did come in?
I'm guessing he will because he's got 5 high. Oh, wow. And what an instant snap off.
Wow.
So this is what I'm talking about. These players, they have a dynamic already because they both know that the other player is an aggressive player. They've played against each other in the home game club. And so they're just, they expect the other player to get it aligned a bit here from time to time, which makes for a really exciting match. And like the insta call too.
That was
pretty quick. It was just he's gonna bluff.
Insanely quick. Yeah. I mean, it's not bottom 2 pair, but it's close to bottom 2 pair.
Yes.
And that was a scary board to snap call on. Crazy to see it go through. Maybe he's got the game. Like I told you, Binkley made the best bluff that we've seen in MaREC Madness so far.
It's true.
Maybe he watched the film. Oh, and Monkey System being saved by the river here. I imagine he's going to go for.
He's going to. I think he will. Like 6 bigs, try and get called by a pair, maybe.
Yeah, you have to be worried around how did the action go? What's going to actually pay off a bet here? This may be too big.
Bigger. Yeah.
Yeah. Binkley making
especially
the correct fold.
With bottom two there, I think. You
unblock all the better pairs. Yeah.
Yeah.
So remember what I said about a 2-1 chip advantage and how that can happen? It looks like we're kind of in that situation, given those couple of hands. But like Binkley can easily turn this around. He's still got 35 bigs essentially. So plenty of play left. This is why we design these matches like this, to give each player a good amount of play. But man, how many times are we going to give Binkley a decent draw?
Like a strong draw, yeah, no kidding. And
I think he's going to get this one through. Monkey doesn't have much equity here. Not. So, although his queen high was technically ahead, he's going to give it up to...
Oh man, bad luck for Eric. When he makes a hand, Keith comes in with a very foldable 4-2 offsuit. That's not going to get paid.
And I don't think he's going to even defend the big here, right? Yeah.
No, too smart. Too smart for that.
Man. It does look pretty rough for Binkley here to start this with the card distribution and what we've had play out.
Yeah. But like you're saying, mental fortitude, in a match like this where variance is going to be a factor. How you play it, how you play the bumps is a big part of it.
This is nowhere near over. We're just getting started. We're 7-8 minutes in, something like that.
Right.
These matches will go on average 40. So it's just keep your head up, keep playing smart, and let the card distribution even itself out.
Yep.
So now Monkeys...
It's like win small pots. You don't not every pot has to be a big pot too. A lot of the time, both players are going to get to showdown with air. So if you can just take it away. What was that? Wow.
Yeah, so Monkey went for the bluff there, turning a gut shot. So it was inverse of what we saw Binkley do before.
Right.
And Binkley made a smart call with third pair and then tripped up on the river here. I mean, the only option being able to see the cards is give him rope, check here, and let him bluff into you. But Binkley goes for a blocker bet, which I'm a bit undecided on. What's going to call the blocker bet that went to bet the river itself? Maybe a queen, but I don't know.
I like that both these players are not afraid to pull the trigger. This is
right. Yeah, I mean, we've seen Binkley bet with 5 high, and now we've seen Monkey System bet with 5 high. And Monkey turning Queen 10 offsuit into a 3-bet here. Again, what we talked about
like
before. More
I
3-betting versus raises, elevate all those different things. I think Queen 10 might be a little bit loose in my book, but it gets through and it gets the job done. So it's all about applying pressure to your opponent.
I'd probably be calling Queen 10 suited there and seeing a flop, but I like those offsuit Broadway hands for 3-bet candidates, and they're typically going to be 3-bet bluff candidates. Well, both players have a piece of this.
Draw, yeah. A draw versus draw. The worst draw has a backup flush draw to go with it, which now is irrelevant. But interesting
they really don't
to see
want to
how
see each other's kicker. That's
that
would be the bloodbath here. I think.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be surprised if Keith takes a bet line here. Yeah, just because it's looked very weak up until this point, and I think Eric kind of gave him an opportunity to try and take it away here.
I feel like Eric's got to stick with it, though.
I'd be surprised. He might raise. A check raise here could be. I mean, he's got to have some check raises here that don't have a 9 in them.
Mm-hmm.
This is a good candidate for it.
And Mr. Bluff Serini correctly identifies a bluff. Yeah,
there you go.
It was a really good spot for it. He went for a small raise that didn't have to work all that often to be profitable, and he found the opportunity where it was going to work. Granted, he had the winning hand
he was
at that point, but when you play that out, like, how often is Jack High winning there? You're getting a lot of other stuff to fold that actually still has you beat. So, well done, and narrowing that gap again. We're seeing that 2-to-1 chip advantage narrow a bit.
I think one thing about Eric in this play, explain, and learn that he does on Thursday nights. Oh, hello.
Talk about an interesting turn
5,
card
6,
here.
7, 8.
Yeah, it Binkley took. It was a interesting one bet size and just bet in general here with King 6 suited on the Ace 8 7. But bringing in the backdoor flush draw, bringing in the backdoor straight draw for him, he can't slow down now. Like, this has to be another bet for him.
That's right. So
and he goes
sizing. There's the overbet. This is what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
High equity, low showdown.
And a call.
These are overbet spots. Yeah. Yep. And then insta check from Monkey system here. So he just has to decide, is he going to check call again?
I mean, if Binkley sends it, Monkey can't call, right? Like, you can't call. He does send it.
Now here it comes.
Oh, is this over immediately? Oh, he got it. He got it through. Oh, man. What did we say about bluffs? Oh, my goodness.
I know, right? And, like, making a hand is hard. Everyone in poker gets paid when they make hands. The art is getting paid when you don't have the best hand. And that's what, like, Eric is really, really good at.
I was nervous for him there.
Poker player. Oh, me too. Yeah. But you have to. You have to take those spots that put your, put your heart in your throat. I love
you
it.
Just gotta hope that it's the time that it's gonna work out in your favor.
Yep.
Right? Because
and you can see why it's so much better to be the player who's putting that pressure on, because it puts Keith in the blender.
In position and applying the pressure,
Yeah. And Keith kind of has to guess, am I going to call or am I not going to call? He guessed correctly earlier.
And incorrectly here, but I can't blame him for that incorrect
no, with third pair.
On the river.
Yeah, I think so too.
Yeah. Because that jack was not a meaningless card, because 10-9 got in on the river for straight draws. Jack other thing can also connect with some of the draws, especially if it was like a club or a heart draw. So it's like the jack wasn't entirely meaningless. It did connect with some of the things that were previously bluffs that got through. He really wasn't left with much bluffs on the river except for like exactly what he had, and he even then took a bet line with it beforehand. So it was a really interesting hand. I might think about that one for a while. I thought that was really interesting, that entire hand.
Might have to flag that one for the free Rec Poker forums. Maybe we can talk about it on the air one of these days.
I know where that is, and I know how to go post there.
So I like this bet from Keith. He's got gut shot, backdoor flush. It's weird ranging players heads up because players get to the flop with such wide ranges, with so many hands they would normally fold in a full ring spot, that it's difficult to sort of exclude holdings from your opponent's range in a way that you'd be able to do normally.
Especially in single raise pots, which that was. Like, Binkley could have taken that and made it a 3-bet. And when you do that, you do narrow ranges a little bit more. He did not. He played a little bit more passively, out of position, which, you know, I can get behind that. But then it does make ranging harder because then you get that, what was it, 9-6-3 flop or something like that. Like, it's not like it doesn't connect with the button's raising range, so you do have to be worried about those things.
It's true. Oh, wow.
Whoa, top pair versus flush draw. So, okay.
Yikes. King would ice it here. Although again, they're still pretty deep here. They've got they've both got over 40 bigs.
No,
so
I think King of Diamonds comes out. We're gonna see some craziness. King of Diamonds or King of Hearts.
Yeah, I think so.
It could get crazy here because then Monkey's gonna have a draw plus likely better value than what opponent previously had, and like this check raise spot, like the 5 of Diamonds is kind of an action killer. Not super bad, but makes Binkley a little bit scared. Oh, does not make Binkley scared.
I mean, he's got a lot of 4s there, just like we were talking about earlier, right? The especially in the big blind, you're defending like pretty close to 100%. So you could definitely have something here.
And a call. Oh, boo!
Ooh. So this is a big pot.
This is big.
This is a stack size pot here, so this is definitely worth someone.
How many 7s does Binkley have in this spot though versus Monkey System, and how are they gonna play this? Are they gonna try and force the other one off the hand? Yep. It's tough to full. Yeah. Okay. They just chop it. You want to do the singing? You know what I'm talking about, right?
I don't think I do know what you're talking about.
Everyone loves a chop pot. Can I not steal that from him? Yeah, can I not steal that from Stapes? All right. No one wants to hear me sing anyways. I won't sing that Everyone Loves a Chop Pot.
Not till karaoke night. Next Rec Poker weekend.
It's really just that tune. Like, that's it. So you got as much singing out of me as possible with that one.
Max.
But everyone does love a chop pot.
Dealers love a chop pot.
Of course.
They go to all the trouble and then they don't get paid.
Binkley was loving that chop pot after being ahead, and
yeah, no kidding. And I really like that both players are, when you call down light, it's really you're sort of paying respect to the other player. You know what I mean? It's like you're saying that they're capable of pulling the trigger in spots like this when it's a good bluff spot. So I think these players have a lot of respect for each other. I can tell.
Yeah, for sure. 5x5 is surprised that you don't know the Everyone Loves a Chop Pot tune.
We just got the internet up here like 2 weeks ago, so it takes a lot longer for stuff to.
Congratulations! Just in time for you to see this 9-3 offsuit for 7 deuce offsuit hand unfold in front of us.
Wow, amazing! I'm just so glad.
I think we might have had people guess both of these hands as the winning hands. Oh, wait. No one guessed these hands? Oh, okay. All right.
Leaving money on the table. All right, Chris, I see you in the YouTube chat. You smart aleck. It's a thing. I'm not gonna blow it here on the air by giving away what we're talking about in case the next 4 guests are watching. But it's absolutely a thing, and it's not made up at all.
I'm on the made up bandwagon. I guess that's one thing 5x5 and I can agree on.
Oh wow! So hallowed ground. That doesn't happen very often. Yeah. No, it's definitely not made up. I've been to multiple cities, spoken to dozens of people about it. It's a real thing. If folks want to know what we're talking about, stay tuned. In a little over a month, we'll talk about it on the podcast.
Stay tuned. Don't go anywhere.
Stay tuned. Come back in April on Monday nights. You'll see. What were Jim and Chris fighting about?
Kind of some low action hands. We've seen some big ones with some big bet sizes, and also some kind of slower played ones. I saw Binkley limp. What was it? Ace-7 offsuit. So he is taking it easy. He's mixing up a few of the things. We saw him with Ace-Queen there. Wasn't really the board for him, but didn't get too crazy on the flop or anything like that. So we're seeing kind of selective aggression, which is correct. Like, they're choosing the times to take aggressive actions. This might be one for Binkley with a pair plus flush draw. We've been seeing him use the 3/4 pot bet size, but out of position he just goes for the check. Giving Monkey System an opportunity to...
Oh my god, again with the 7s.
But again with the 7s, this is now twice he's rivered the 7 for trips, but doesn't seem like he's going to get much here.
No. And you could see him, I guarantee you, Taylor, when he checked the turn, if he was check raising that turn for sure. For sure.
I was not... I did like the big bet on the river there, because I think he does get looked up by a decent amount. I was contemplating, like, does Monkey System even call with queen high here? Because of how the action went beforehand. It's really kind of like he has a 7 or nothing when he makes that bet. When you put someone in that tough spot of play a game of chicken, they can make mistakes sometimes.
It's true.
So open-ended.
And the only way that they can win the hand is by calling correctly, whereas you have 2 ways to win the hand.
Correct. Yeah.
Which is excellent.
Well, this one could have been bigger, but we had open-ended straight draw brick and bottom pair turn into trips. So
a lot of trips tonight. I guess if you haven't made your guesses yet, I'd include a 7 in your guess. They're hot. They're hot tonight.
That's if Binkley wins. If Monkey System wins,
God.
You know?
What?
Oh my!
What?
All right. Well, so
7s are hot.
This is B Jammin's guess. B Jammin did guess 9-7, even though he said he should have guessed 96. So Binkley had nothing though. I was like, turned king. All of a sudden, stuff gets interesting, right? Top pair versus trips. Another 9-7.
Oh, okay.
And the 7s have been hot. Could we see some cooler action here?
It's gonna be some 7s. 7s are gonna feature prominently. When they write songs about this battle, 7s will feature prominently. It's fair. Which is tough because it's hard to rhyme the 7.
Very tough.
I know Heaven's the easy one, obviously, but
yeah,
it gets trickier.
Does orange rhyme with 7? Or
only in French.
Oh, that's it. I was like, I knew there was something there. Okay.
No, that's what it is. Yeah,
it's
those French, man. It's like they've got a different word for everything.
Right. But
Other
7 and orange still rhymes for them. Got it.
Yeah, it's amazing. And reception. Actually, they also don't have a different word for reception. But almost everything. They have a different word for almost everything.
Someone was telling me that you weren't very well educated, but like, I have to say that they are very wrong. You know all the things. There you go.
I know a few things.
I
know a few things, especially useless things. Kind of my forte. Trips
and
again, and there's
trips
a 7
for
ball.
Binkley, and I mean 5 deuce isn't going to get any more chips in this pot.
Like, it's one thing to make a hand. It really takes two to get paid. Which is why I think people should be fast playing their strong made hands more and not being so tricky about it and slow playing them, because you're not getting, if they don't have a hand, you're not getting paid anyway.
Right.
So you should really be playing it for the times that they do have a hand, and they can pay you off, because if they're not going to pay you off, they're not going to pay you off anyway.
Right. Yeah, I see that a lot of people like, oh, I've got bottom set. I need to try and be tricky here, or do this, and it's like, okay, well, what are you going to get paid by? Is there something that's going to improve, that's going to make you win the hand, or is there going to be something that comes later that's actually going to make you lose the hand? Well, think about that. Consider all those things when we're deciding how to play hands. But second pair versus third pair here. They're sharing kickers, which is kind of bad news for Binkley. He's down to just a 3 for an out, but I don't know if this 4 big blind pot is going to go all too crazy. It might just check down here.
I think he might just take this to showdown. Yeah.
Which is unfortunate when you check down there. You're kind of hoping that you're going to win with a pair of 3s.
Yep. And you are, at a certain frequency, not that particular time.
Yeah. But when you do lose, I guess you got to be happy that you didn't put any more chips in the middle. And you just lose a small pot when your pair was beat by a better pair.
So I just went to type in the Twitch chat, and apparently I'm typing backwards now. Is that a thing?
Were you trying to write true? And you wrote
true.
You root?
Lol. But when I'm typing, it's taking the letters and putting them in reverse order. Is that a Twitch thing, or
no? That's you messed something up. That's absolutely hilarious. You can only type backwards now.
What the heck? Oh no.
Okay, there went through.
Forward. Okay. Well, boy, I have no idea what the hell that. Okay. Well, I've had 1 can of apple cider tonight, so I know I'm not the problem.
All right, everyone, pause the stream. We need to figure out what's going on with Jim here for a second. You typed everything backwards?
Twitch was just possessed for a second there. Anyway. All right, so Monkey System, he's in here with high card.
Okay, so note for you in the future, do not make fun of the French. They're going to mess with you. So...
Yeah, I'm getting roasted here in the
famous type backwards Twitch feature. Oh, I'm glad that was a relatively small pot, but
yeah, because we caught that. Sorry, guys, I've never seen that before. I mean, look at the chat. How did that all come out backwards? That doesn't make any sense.
Yep. All right. This
so Monkey System, he's got the chip lead again.
Yeah, again 2-1. So Binkley keeps working his way back, but still has been Monkey System's the whole way. I think Monkey System won the first hand and then has had the chip lead ever since. 9-5 going for bluff here is a bit interesting. There's no backdoor equity for him to kind of get after. So is this a one and done bluff type of thing? Is he going to continue on stuff like this Jack of Clubs? If he continues, I don't imagine it's going to work out with Binkley having the Queen of Clubs. Pair plus this, yeah. And now the Ace River. Do you go for 3 streets as a bluff with 9-5 here? That's such a hard thing. Like I have to imagine, yeah, you just give up and lose to a pair of deuces, which feels bad because in hindsight you just win when you go for the triple barrel. But yeah, that's kind of the trouble of like using 9-5 as a bluff there with no backdoor equity.
And it's kind of a tricky story you're telling too, because if you had a hand that you wanted to bet on the flop, the flush on the turn, and then you bet that, and then you're betting again when the ace comes.
Ace on the river, yeah. What's your story?
It feels a little bluffier. Yeah, the story doesn't quite. I mean, I guess it's just a flush. He's just saying,
yeah, just a made
flush drop, then I made a flush. I
don't care about the ace. Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, I do not blame him for giving up on the river, because it's just like you can't just keep going crazy with just 9 high. We're seeing
We'll see a lot of limping here. I expect. We've seen a couple.
It's interesting to see how the limping strategy does play out. We've talked about this a ton in prior years when we go through MaREC Madnesses. What does your heads-up strategy look like? Are you limping buttons? How often are you limping? What hands are you choosing to limp with? At what stack size do you start the limping? So it's always interesting to see how players shift into those different strategies as we go through this heads-up game, because now we're playing 31 big blinds effective. Is that the time where we start limping? Do you limp earlier than that? Are you still making all your opens 2x? So we'll see a bunch of different strategies kind of play out here as we go through stuff.
And I think when your head's up, you can have a limping strategy at virtually every stack depth, to be honest with you. You're going to be in position post flop. You want to play almost every hand, and you can play more hands if you limp with some of them in a balanced and thoughtful way.
Yeah, I like
definitely as you get shorter, you see more of it.
I like taking raise strategies when we're relatively deeper, but when we do get shorter, limping definitely is valuable to avoid getting 3-bet jammed on, because it's a lot harder for them to rip for 30 bigs when you just limp pre. So you kind of buy yourself a little bit of post flop potential, especially when you have position. But we'll see everyone develop their own strategy, their own thoughts around this as we go through it. That was a relatively big one. I think that was a 3-bet pot that Binkley ended up taking down with just was that third pair or second pair?
Oh yeah, another pair.
Yeah.
It's tricky when you start calling 3-bets because, as every poker player knows, it's hard to hit a flop. And so if you're going to be calling 3-bets and hoping to make hands, what's going to happen is you're not going to, which is a problem.
Oh.
So I expect we'll see a bet from Keith. Sorry, Taylor. Yeah.
I was going to say we're getting a slew of palindromes in the Twitch chat, thanks to you. So if you'd like to post in the Twitch chat, make sure it reads the same forward as it does backwards, so Jim can read it, and he'll answer your questions.
But the problem is we don't have a control group. We won't know for sure if maybe they've been affected by the palindrome virus as well.
This is true. Yeah.
Or if it was just me. I don't know.
Interesting.
Evil Roy CH has put in my favorite palindrome ever.
Yeah.
A man, a plan, a oh, Panama. The cat's a new one.
That's a good one.
Perfect. I remember when I first learned about palindromes in grade school. I thought it was like the coolest thing.
There's a comedian, I'm blanking on his name, I'll probably think of it here in a bit, but he wrote an entire bit around palindromes. He has a special, I think it's If I, because If I is a palindrome. But I thought that was pretty good. That's the only palindrome jokes that I know. Ace King here. Probably going for a 3-bet. Binkley probably going to fold. But we're getting to this like very susceptible stack depth. Binkley down to 25. We just had the big blind go up a little bit. So Monkey only at 47, Binkley at 25. A lot of shifting can happen. Win a few hands for Keith, and all of a sudden Binkley's down in that sub 20 range, and things get dicey. Win a few hands for Binkley, he can easily flip the tables and take the chip lead. So I think these next few hands could be really important for the dynamic of how this game. Dimitri Martin, there it is. Poker Geek and Man.
He's great.
Yeah.
He's so funny. Very cerebral comedian. Too.
Yes. Yeah.
That doesn't make sense to me. That makes perfect sense to me.
Yeah. He has a big special called If I.
Daily show start for him, I think, back in the day. Or something like that. Colbert show, something like that. He was on one of those.
Probably.
I think.
Yeah.
Very funny guy. Feels like he might be like a little awkward at a party.
He looks like he'd be very awkward at a party, but in like a good way.
Yeah. Dimitri, if you're watching, forgive us.
Yeah.
We tell it like it is.
He's sitting at home right now, sitting there like, what the hell? Where am I getting these shots from?
Shots fired from the Red Poker Crew.
Yeah.
What the hell?
Well, any publicity's good publicity.
That's right. There you go. Dimitri Martin. Go check him out. So we'll take his lawyers off our back. Dimitri, we're sorry.
Yeah.
Call off your dogs.
Well, good flop for Monkey System here. Not much for Binkley. It's just going to kind of come down to a lot of these different things of how are these different hands going to play out? Who's going to get dealt the winner?
But Binkley, when there's nothing for him, that's where he's got you right where he wants you.
Yeah.
That's why.
Looks like he's down and out, but then the big bluff comes in.
He was thinking about it. He was thinking about it.
Do you just fold this pre-flop?
I mean, I don't know why anyone would play. Oh, he's gonna give it a. He's gonna give it a try.
Limp. Yeah.
Why not?
And look at that. Immediately behind.
Limit his exposure.
immediately behind. Now he can get away from it really easily.
Oh, and there he goes, just putting another good chip after
Giving
bad.
him a flush draw for some hope.
Mm-hmm.
But I can't imagine another bet is going to get Monkey System to fold here.
It's interesting spot. If Eric had
check.
more chips,
Oh, and the club does come in on the river.
Mm-hmm. I think Chris Jones has been inspired by the pocket fives on the button here to share some extemporaneous poetry. In the
AI assisted, apparently. I thought he stole it from Dimitri's
Me too.
stuff, but I immediately looked at it and I was like, is the middle of it if I? Because that's how he did his special.
Oh, nice.
And I knew it wasn't there, so then I was like, I think he did something else for this.
Yeah.
But
this one's it's a word palindrome, so it's all the words are backwards, but not the letters. It's the same words. Backwards. It's not technically a letter palindrome, but it's a different. It's interesting.
Interesting. He's missing an A in the second to last word.
Oh yes. Well,
I'm going to delete the message. It doesn't work. I'm going to get rid of it.
That's true. I think we've got some time until the AI overlords take over. By the way, I've been seeing some pretty large gaps in their
This one could get interesting though if a jack comes out on the turn here. Binkley's got two overs. Monkey System's got top pair. I imagine Binkley calls like he does. So if the jack would have come out, we could have seen some fireworks, but the brick might end up saving Binkley here. I don't know if you can call two streets with just two overs and king high, especially to a bigger size bet here now.
Yeah.
So luckily for him, the jack did not come on the turn there.
True. You know, it's a function of the game of poker that, like we were saying earlier, it's hard to make hands. Mm-hmm. So often what happens is you're folding a lot of equity.
Well, there's one action card that I can think of coming out here because Monkey's got a gut shot draw. Binkley's got the up and down.
Yes.
Open-ended draw.
Pretty
6 would be
exciting.
Crazy, but now Monkey hits bottom pair or third pair. Puts him ahead in a spot that he was so far behind that he didn't really realize it. But does Binkley go for raises here or just calls?
I wouldn't be surprised.
I don't see much folding.
If he calls, there's going to be 10 big blinds in the pot and 20 behind.
Mm-hmm.
So
does he go to like 8 here as a check raise?
It'd be interesting.
Setting up a river jam.
But
it did go check on the flop.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, just a fold. Yep. Interesting.
Mm-hmm.
He looked a little bit frustrated. I wonder if he timed out accidentally there. Did you see his reaction? He looked.
He did.
He looked a little bit. I wonder if he timed out there, because I was not expecting a fold from him in that spot.
Mm-hmm.
2 overs, open-ended draw. Like you got to think that you have relatively good equity there. You have to be worried about the 2 flush draws that were on the board, but I don't know. That felt like a calling spot. And given his frustration, I think we might have had an accidental timeout.
Mm-hmm. It does happen. That's another good palindrome from Eaglroy here. Cigar, toss it in a can. It is so tragic. That's a good one.
Mm-hmm. Monkey System flopping well here with top pair, good kicker, backup spade draw. Oh, okay, this could get interesting. Binkley turns top pair. Monkey gets the spade draw to come in. His queen is still there.
got a lot of equity still.
Yeah.
Wow,
Ooh.
there's
king on the river.
And we got a pot-sized bet here.
Yeah, is Monkey going to jam? And then what does Binkley do versus jam? There's the jam.
There's the jam. He's got top pair.
And he calls it off. Oh.
There
King
it is,
Queen
folks.
is going to be the winner.
King Queen of Spades.
For Monkey System.
For returning champion Keith Grant. Well played to both participants. That was just... I mean, I don't know. Can you fold there for less than 20 bigs with top pair? I mean, it's hard to make top pair.
That's tough. Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. You start getting to the point, and that's the other thing about the heads-up matches.
Yeah.
You're playing every hand. It's not like a full ring where you're taking time off. So you do kind of get into this, like, when's the big hand going to come? Is this my time? But congratulations.
No, that was interesting. Like, we saw a lot of bluffs and we saw a lot of light calls on the bluffs. So I think that probably plays into it.
True.
As you kind of think through this. So I can't blame him given the action that was going on during that hand. It was just kind of an unfortunate spot. Binkley in the chat did say that was a timeout when he had the 10-9 there. Unfortunate, like, if he went, like, what's that river there? When he calls or raises, how does that hand play out? How does that change how that last hand would have went? Kind of unfortunate, but well played, Binkley.
Yeah, well played for sure.
It was a good match to watch. I appreciate both those players. But congratulations to Keith, the first to advance to the second round, our returning champion. Makes it to round 2.
There you go.
And here we are, 42 seconds away from our next matchup coming up here. So now we have Kim versus Michael. Kim Kilroy. Yep. Like you said, she does her hand history reviews. She does poker empowerment, all those cool things. Babker helps out a ton with the Rec Poker site. So we're going to have 2 people battling it out here. Predictions, Jim?
I got to take Kim just because I think she's got an experience edge.
Yeah.
She's also from Ontario like me.
Yeah.
But I just think she's such an accomplished player. She just has more time in the saddle than Michael does. So I give her a small edge over awesome guy Michael Babker.
Yeah. I will agree with that. Again, anything can happen with heads up, so I like taking the underdog sometimes. But man, PetVet's good. She knows what she's doing. She's one of the... Should I win my first round matchup next week, I'm going to play the winner of this match, so I'm going to pay attention and see what's going on here. But I'm kind of scared to face PetVet, so that's my prediction.
Yep.
So, if you're out there, we didn't have any guesses for King Queen.
Oh, right.
In there, nor did we have the 9 of clubs. But that was just one time that we had this go through. So if you want to go back out there, put in your guess for what you think is going to be the winning hand in this matchup. And if you're correct, you'll win a prize. And if it has the 9 of clubs in there, we'll draw randomly for the remaining people. So go out there, put your guesses in there. We're starting all over anew. If you want to guess the same hand as last time, totally cool. Do that. But just put your guess in there, and we'll see what the winning hand is going to be here.
And starting with a pretty small pot, which is pretty typical, like you said, Taylor, for the first few hands, usually players are kind of feeling each other out. No one wants to play for stacks in the first hand or the first couple hands. So we'll see these two parry and strike and pair. I don't know enough about fencing terms, but
yeah, we'll stop you there. I'll jump in so you don't have to try and continue your fencing analogies. But again, it was a hand that could have kind of had some fireworks to start. It was ace-6 versus ace-10. Like, give both players an ace, stuff could get crazy. Give those players that same hand 30 minutes from now, we could see all ends. But on hand number 1, 75 bigs deep, going to be a little bit more passive as we work our way through things. So PetVet did win that one by making a pair of 6s, and now has the early lead. But again, so much changes that can go up, down, all those things as we progress through this. So.
And again, they're sharing a card here, so that's always it's less likely that it's going to come because there's only 2 of them left in the deck, but it tends to be an action starter when it does.
Right. Yeah. So not imagining a ton of action here. Even a 9 doesn't really get either player too excited about this. And this one big blind bet by Michael might just turn out to work. Yeah, and it does. Yep. He's targeting stuff like 10 high, like Jack high, maybe even like Queen high there. So finds the right hand to get that bluff to work against. So yeah, we got our guesses in for hands. We saw pocket 5s being guessed, ace 10, king jack, king queen, 9-6, another king jack coming through, 10-9, pocket 10s. Evil Roy then corrected his pocket 10s to be a palindrome by saying 10-1. So
which is
well
like
done there,
ace 10.
Dave. Yeah.
Is ace 10 the palindrome? Can we now? Do we have a new name for ace 10? Is it the palindrome now? I don't know.
No.
I don't know. We'll have to talk to the lawyers.
Yeah.
Can we trademark that?
Well, they're busy working our previous case with the men's NCAA basketball lawsuit that we have going on. So let's let them handle that one before we go after this next ace 10 stuff.
That's a good idea. The NCAA guys, they have deep pockets. I think that can really work out well for us.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Or we can just make them pay. No settlement.
Always love.
Inflict
pain. Always love making a pair. Yeah, you have to.
How is 3-pair? How do you feel about
otherwise
3-pair?
known as the Canadian boat?
Yeah.
The expression?
Pet vet coming through with 3-pair there. Much better than Michael's 1-pair.
Right, it is. It's like 3 times as good. Although it's actually only twice as good.
It's crazy how that works.
It's a weird math thing. Yeah. No, you'd think it was 3 times as good, but it's definitely not.
Pet vet going for a big bet here. We saw Michael limp even this deep, and Pet vet going for the 4.25 sizing.
Yep.
I feel like we could see that a lot. Like, I'm imagining Babker's going to be limping a decent chunk. How often is Pet vet going to be taking that bigger raise size? Again, another limp here from Michael. We talked about this before. What's everyone's limping strategy? How are they going to approach it? It's also a strategy. How are you going to combat against limpers? Are you going to be raising a lot? Are you going to be checking behind yourself? And then how are you dividing up that range? So we saw her do it with ace queen. We now saw her not do a raise with 5-3 suited. So we're kind of starting to develop how she's approaching those different spots. But that's the interesting stuff as we go through this, is what do the different ranges mean to each player.
Yeah, and I'm always interested in when we want to play in a balanced fashion and when we just want to play our strong hands strongly and our weak hands more passively. I think there's different answers out there. It's kind of field dependent, but I do think for a lot of the games that we're playing in, balance is really overrated, and we should play like range versus range and when it's appropriate. But a lot of times we can just play our hand versus our opponent's range, and we're not going to get like caught out on it by most of the games that we're playing in.
Yeah, and an interesting one for Babker here. We saw him limp a decent amount, now opening to 3x with the ace-5 offsuit. Pet vet having a decent hand. I imagine the 3x open was actually going to work a good amount, given how he was kind of setting it up with the prior limps. But Pet vet had pocket 4, so then you kind of have to call that. Flop didn't work out in her favor. It correctly folded to Babker's continuation bet there. But that had the makings of being somewhat interesting, just given all the limps that we saw prior to it.
Mm-hmm. And here's a different raise sizing. Ace queen was 4 1/4, queen 5 suited is 3 3/4. I wonder if we'll see that trend continue. I
have a feeling we might see Pet vet attack a lot of those limps. It'll be interesting to see how Babker reacts to the attacking of limps, because that's the big thing that you have to think about. When you're choosing to limp, you have to then also defend versus raises a little bit wider. You're going to have position, but now your opponent has taken like the aggressive line, and how are you going to play that? And I think that's what throws people off more than anything when they start developing a limping strategy, is like, how are you going to combat versus raises back against you?
And it's very different than a small blind limping strategy you might employ in 3-handed or full ring situations, because you're actually going to be in position heads up.
Yep.
So you have to anticipate that, and you have to have a limp calling range and a limp raising range that's going to make your opponent uncomfortable, and still allow you to see the flops with the hands that you want to see flops with. So it is complicated.
Yeah, and that was an interesting one that we just saw too. It was 11 big blinds in the middle there, but checks it down. Both players hoping that their high card value was going to be good, but Pet Vet taking it down with king high. And here we do see a limp and then defend from Michael, which I totally get, having the ace. But again, it kind of involves this like weird dynamic now as we look through the hand. You talk about how do you range people. It's really hard to range people on limps versus raises and then calls of those raises from a prior limp. It adds a totally different dynamic to this. So Michael correctly calling with ace high here, but is Pet Vet going to put the pressure on? No, I imagine Michael just checks and goes with his ace high and wins that pot. Yeah. So limping typically is trying to like reduce the pot size, but just given Kim's actions back against it is actually kind of like giving Michael the opposite effect.
Yeah, because she's raising over his limps with some hands that she might just call a small open with. So the pot ends up being a little bigger when he completes that action.
Which, you know, may be a good strategy. I'm not saying like that's a negative strategy. Like if that's the result that you want because you're going to play in position for a bigger pot, totally cool. But we'll have to see how it kind of plays out here because this is interesting. And now he goes for a raise with the ace-7 off. So definitely just mixing it up with his actions. Flopping bottom pair on this paired board. Doesn't seem like Kim's going to have much to continue with. And this might push us a little bit back towards even here.
Good to see the bet there.
Yeah.
And Kim's really just got the backdoor straight, backdoor flush on a paired board.
Just not much you can do there.
Nope. Now,
6 high versus 5 high.
Yeah, is Kim going to limp this or open it? Because it's one of those hands. There you go. Like we talked about promoting hands, right? Even these suited connectors, they really go up in value in these heads-up spots. You just have to play more hands. Now, you don't have to play them all more aggressively, but when you're playing more hands generally, you should have more of them as raises. You should have more 3-bets, like we were saying earlier. Everything gets promoted. So
yeah,
I like that.
And the whole point of limping, I think, is to play even more hands and avoid folding. So that's typically the thought there. And then that really elevates all those other things. Like, what are you going to raise when your opponent has, 100% calling range and no folds? Well, you're going to raise more. And does get kind of a bit crazy. So pocket sevens.
I like all this action. I like this by everybody. Michael's trying to deny equity.
Yeah.
The call there puts the bet out.
Of the raise is interesting. The thing about Kim is she does find a lot of check raises. But this time she actually has top pair that turned into trips. So if Michael didn't believe it before, is he going to believe it now? I don't know. Like the 10 made it a little bit less likely that she had value and a little bit more likely that she had a jack 8, queen jack, something like that. But he does correctly fold there versus the turn aggression.
And kudos to Michael. I think we get too stuck on really only betting with very strong holdings, but betting with weaker holdings and being comfortable folding later is a money-making scheme that I encourage more of you to check out. The old bet fold line is gonna print in the games that we're playing.
Yep. Yeah, I mean, he went for a bet there with pocket sevens on a 9-10 low card, whatever it was. But like he's targeting, stuff like king high, queen high, jack high, maybe even ace high that might find a fold now. But he's going after those and trying to remove all their equity because versus pocket sevens, those like king queen there still has decent equity because they can make better pairs. But if he gets folds from them, that's totally cool for him.
Love to see it.
And Babker hoping for the flush to come in, but not really because Pet Vet has the better club. It goes check on the river, and Pet Vet wins with their bottom pair.
Tiny little pot there.
Yeah. But
hardly worth
any
stealing.
pot is a good pot to win.
That's right. I was wondering if we might see a bluff from Michael there, but I'm not sure it would have been a good one either. I'm just saying there was that hesitation. I think he was thinking about it.
Yeah, versus bottom pair, it's good to bluff, but you can't assume that your opponent has bottom pair there. You're also hoping to get like clubs that missed to fold, but you're holding a club, so it's kind of this like, what kind of game are you trying to play? What are you trying to get to fold there?
Oh, Michael's got this one all locked up.
Yeah, but again, one of those spots that we've been seeing so much. One person smashes the flop, the other doesn't. But on a check with a king on the turn, I think we could see a bet and a call here.
Go for the bet, Michael. She caught up. That's what you were hoping when you make this check back.
3. I was thinking maybe just a tiny bit bigger, but I think this should get a call. Queen on the river, you might be able to still get another bet of value out of pet vet.
Yeah, that 4 straight's always so scary. It slows down the winning hand, and then it also slows down your action. So
I think you still have to put the bet out there. Like you said, the bet fold line is still a valuable line to take. What is pet vet going to raise there that isn't a jack? Or most people just in general. Like, most people just don't have raises there on the river with worse hands.
And, you know, what does that mean, folks? That means that if you, you know, can reverse engineer some bluffs into spots like that, people are never going to see it coming. Like, I love when we find spots like this where we're like, oh, well, it's very hard to have a bluff here. They always have it here, that kind of thing. Go back and see if you can reverse engineer some bluffs into that spot for next time, because that's worth doing. People trust their gut.
Interesting bet for Michael to take here. 6-7, no backdoor clubs. Really only a backdoor straight, but a really like weird one. But now gives up on the turn. So he kind of took a one shot and done. We kind of saw a similar thing with Monkey on the previous hand. I think it was like a 9-5 or something like that. But Michael just giving up and saying, I don't have anything. I don't imagine he's going to put any more chips in, and just move on to the next one. That's what we see. And queens for pet vet, but probably not going to get anything out of it.
This is one of those spots where, you know, usually Kim's going to win a small pot or lose a big pot. Had some surprising run out that it's hard to see coming.
Oh!
Well, I mean, pet vet really has to bet here because the diamonds.
Do we see a raise? I think a raise would be great here, just given the 2 diamonds. You wouldn't?
I would raise.
Oh, you would? Okay.
No, I would. I would raise there for sure. Because we
2 diamonds on the board.
2 diamonds, plus it looks like a 1-pair hand. You know, a lot
diamond
there.
Comes in. The ace really killed Babker's action. There.
Yeah. I think he probably leads here.
Yeah. I think Kim still calls. Yeah, she does.
Yeah.
But, I mean, she's got to feel good that she didn't lose a bigger pot there.
Yeah.
An overpair versus 2-pair, flop 2-pair, like that can get ugly quick.
Yeah. And, you know, like I said, usually you're going to win a small one or lose a big one. She actually lost a pretty small one, so that was pretty good for her. Disciplined.
Yeah.
That's honestly, that's hard to, like, you know, it's easy to lose a big pot there. But checking back that turn was made a big difference.
Yeah. All right, going for a 3-bet with the suited ace. King 10. That's one of those, like, interesting hands of, like, do you call there? You're going to have position.
It's the best bad hand. It's
Yeah.
the best bad hand.
It is. Babker just finds the fold. Can't fault him for it, but at the same time, like, we're going to have to defend some things. So.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you got 2 cards 10 or higher. I mean, honestly, you're not going to get 2 Broadway cards that often. Now, that King 10 off doesn't stack up great against a typical 3-bet range. But like we've been talking about, players are going to be expanding those 3 bets that three betting range, so it might actually be ahead of more hands than you think there.
Exactly. That it heads up. That's why I'm like thinking about that. Like if you give me King 9 offsuit there, like I'm like, okay, yeah, I don't need to worry about this. I'm not gonna play the hand. But King 10 is like, is this just good enough?
That's why I hate that hand so much.
Yeah,
That's why it's my least favorite hand. I hate that freaking hand.
Yeah.
I hate that hand.
I know. We do call it the Jim Reed for all those reasons.
Just offsuit. King 10 suited is actually, a delightful.
Seems decent.
King 10 offsuit. No.
Unfortunate for Babker, he gets ace 10 suited, a good hand for him, but Pevitt just open folds the button, and then he returns the favor versus her ace 7. I mean, that happens a lot in heads up. Like, it can be kind of frustrating when you get that. Like, we easily could have seen the pocket queens get a fold pre-flop from the deuce 4.
Right.
It just happened to work out for Babker on that exact hand, but like, it's kind of weird how the card distribution can work out here. Here we have bottom pair versus open-ended straight draw. It seems a bit interesting, but I have a feeling a lot of turn cards just kind of kill the action. That might not be one of it, though.
Pretty small sizing on the flop there from Kim in position, really just trying to get
I don't mind
Michael to fold air. No, me neither.
Ace 8 6. Yeah. Okay, it gets Michael to fold bottom pair there. Very profitable bet for her to make. Then she does go bigger. It's a bit interesting though, because as we get to the turn, like the ace comes out, it makes a little bit less likely that Kim had an ace to begin with. So now, does your radars go up? Ooh, she bluffing me here. But it's a game of chicken, right? Like, she either has an ace or she doesn't. And you gotta hope you guess correctly.
Especially heads up like that, I feel like there's a lot of that. Do they or don't they?
Yep.
Especially as the match goes on and you get more into this meta game. It really does become a question of stack size and like player type.
Yeah.
Right.
I guess some potential for stuff here. 2 overs with a king of spades versus 2 spades. Will Michael go for the check raise? No check raise. If he didn't check raise the 2 pair, I kind of see that.
That's what I was gonna say.
Yeah. And now river's a spade.
I mean, the bluffs, the frequency with which you bluff should be driven by the frequency with which you value bet. So if you're not value betting and raising a lot, you actually don't need to bluff a lot to make up for it. So those two should always be kind of tied.
Yeah, and Michael hits his flush there on the river, but Kim has nothing she can call with. The only thing she could have done there was potentially raise, because she did have the king of spades as like a king of spades blocker, but really tough to do that when Michael leads big into you on the river. It's hard to take that and make it a bluff, but kind of how that hand is going to play out so frequently.
This one might be a raise here from Kim. I don't know. She just decides to
kept the suited connectors as a call. And that was versus a limp, right? Yeah, there's 2 bigs in the middle, so just versus a limp. And now it feels like it's just going to check down.
Limp pot, no one's trying to play for value.
And there's the 6.
Yep.
Now we're probably going to see a bet and a call.
10.
Who's going to bet? I'm not sure.
Yep.
One big
Michael's got to call this. Yeah, there you go, Michael. Nice. Good call. Kim looks a little like
little disgusted, like really, that 6 on the river? You had to put the 6 on the river?
Alright, so I'd love to see a 3-bet from Michael here.
Yeah, I think so. But unfortunately, like, this hand is gonna, if he wins big, it's gonna be with him calling and a king flopping.
Yeah.
But just the pure hand of king queen suited, I think he's got to start 3-betting some of those.
Yep. And Kim, makes the open there with king 2 off. And what's nice about that is that it's got a king blocker, and it's easy. Honestly, it's easy to fold to a 3-bet. If they're gonna raise, you don't want to be around.
I expect the same here with king 4 suit or king 4 offsuit.
Yep.
Make a raise.
Same principle.
If you get 3-bet, it's the exact same thing. You're just going to let it go. But go to a flop, you still have king high, and Can be in a
That
good
folding, raise folding, you know, having a part of your active aggressive range that still folds to further aggression. Wow, speaking about aggression, jacks versus sevens. Something tells me Michael's going to call this one.
Yeah. I was gonna say,
board like
and that this just kills the action. I was like,
Yeah,
if like we could see fireworks pre-flop, but now on this flop, it's like both of them are kind of like gun shy. Babker's more gun shy than Kim, but he goes for a bet here. If he's gonna win this hand, this is how he takes it down. But now with a check on the river, because she's just checking behind and winning. Yeah.
I wonder if that was a value bet.
I think it's tough to go for a value bet there on an ace king.
Me too.
10.
But it's a tough bluff too, because you actually have enough equity with your own hand.
Yeah.
That at that sizing, I'm not sure a better hand's going to fold.
That is true.
This one could get.
I was gonna say put the 8 of spades out there for the chaos, but she's got the 8 of spades, so she's saving herself from potential destruction. And another spade flush for Babker, but I don't know how much Petvet can actually call here.
He's got a bet, so
and I just imagine
3 bigs. Yep.
I still don't think she's gonna call. I think she's gonna still find a fold in this spot. It's not a good spot for 9's meh kicker. Like, what do you hope your opponent has here?
Yeah, you just want to get paid by a one pair hand.
And I don't think the 9-8 was going to be paying off much there. So good fold by Kim.
Do you think she calls for 2 instead? 2 big blinds instead of 3?
I don't know. I don't even know if you make like a single big blind bet. Like,
So then I like the 3 because like we say, if
you're targeting a queen or a rivered ace there essentially. Like just the way that board runs out. Like I just don't think Michael has too many worse hands that are just going for bets there. Oh, here's the king 10 offsuit making a 3-bet.
Oh boy. It's a 3-bet fold. I hope. He's a garbage hand. He's a junk.
Oh, look, my favorite small pocket pair, pocket fours. Great open from pocket fours and just takes it down. That's textbook.
Fully Maas approved.
Yep.
Not like some of those other.
I like 6s too. 6s is a good pocket pair to have.
A lot of them. You like a lot of them, actually.
A few.
No, there's pocket pairs. There's a pair of 5s on the board here, but they're on either side of the table. Unfortunately, they don't get to.
Usually works out better that way when that's the case.
Still one of my favorite bits. Pocket 5s.
Eventually, we'll run it into the ground, but until then, just keep going after it. You know.
Well, Kim didn't pick up much here.
Yeah. It was a limped pot and then check. I imagine she just keeps checking it down.
She might try and take it away. If Michael checks back here. Okay. I like it. I like that. Great play by Michael. Scary.
I mean, even if the river was a blank, like I don't even know if Petvet kind of goes for a bluff there because Babker's going to have a decent amount of checks that are like defending his checking range too. Only if you think your opponent is just only checking down, like king high junk, then maybe can you try and bluff with 5 high, but I'm not opposed to never putting an additional chip in and not even trying to bluff to take the 2 bigs that exist out there. Like that's not that crazy of a give up.
Yeah, it turns out it's actually not that important to win every hand.
It's not
as a poker player.
If it's the small ones, it's not that bad. How do you feel about Queen 10 offsuit versus King 10 offsuit?
Honestly, I love it. You have easier decisions. Decisions with Queen 10 offsuit.
Yeah. Well, we had an open from the Queen 10 offsuit and a defend from the King 10 offsuit. And now they're each hoping that the other one makes their top pair.
That's right. You do not want to be in there. You don't want to be in these streets with King 10 offsuit. I mean, Kim will prove me wrong here somehow.
She's currently ahead and calling correctly. And gets rivered.
That's why you don't play that garbage.
Get
rivered. You cannot play that garbage.
Yikes, yeah.
Okay,
now what's Babker going to do? We've seen him make...
He's got 19 bigs, so...
Yeah, he goes here. Kim's kind of in a tough spot. Like, is Babker going to bet a jack here? I don't know if he has, based off how we've been seeing him play. She hasn't seen all the whole cards exposed like we have. But to me, I don't know if Babker's betting worse than this. She does call, gets the unfortunate news. But I think she had a tough time deciding with that one because you improve your hand, but they make a bet and you're just kind of like, well, did this help? I don't know.
And just like that, we're getting close to even again with the stacks.
And Babker wants to run it back with Queen 10. 2 hands in a row.
And this one's suited.
Yeah, how can we inflict more pain? It's not going to be a flush. Kim can't make a great hand with Babker making a flush, but a bet will just make it take it down for a pet vet there.
Yep. So 40 big blinds to 30 big blinds. Still lots of depth, lots of room to maneuver here on relatively equal chip stacks.
Yeah, but still 30 bigs, stuff gets a little bit dicey when you get down there. You could see the fireworks at any point just kind of end the match. I've always whenever I'm trying to understand poker tournament structures and like when do I expect tournaments to end, I always eye up when there's between 50 and 80 big blinds left given the structure, and that's kind of when I expect tournaments to start ending. So applying that same logic here, 70 bigs on the table, could be seeing this tournament end sometime soon.
I love that.
That's my little tip if you're eyeing up structures and trying to figure it out. You need to know how many people you expect to play in the tournament, but do that times the starting stack, and then use that to figure out when you're going to hit those thresholds on the structure, and that can kind of help you time out when a tournament's going to end.
Extremely cool.
And I was hoping to segue into an important hand here, but it was news first. Here we go. Ace-10 versus Ace-7. There we go. I should have kept talking for like 5 seconds more.
Yeah. That's not usually your problem, Taylor. It's a great insight there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can usually talk for a while, but yeah.
You're in good company.
Yeah.
You're in good company.
Not an action flop here, though. There's an action turn. All right, interesting.
Let's see.
Seems like it's only going to work in Pet Vet's favor, but what do you do versus a lead here? Just call.
And tricky. And then the flush comes in.
The 10 does play, the 7 doesn't for Babker. But I imagine this just goes bet call.
He's got the ace. I think this probably gets called.
Just considering it, though, I think the last King 10 versus Queen 10 hand is really like ringing in her head. Like, what is Babker betting for value in these spots? And how does my ace stack up against it? I think she's going to land on a call, but she might be a little bit shy given the prior hand that we just saw. Correctly calls and sees that he was in fact betting an ace, probably like reaffirming her thoughts here. But that gives her a nice lead. She's now got 55 bigs versus Babker's 17. Babker's going to need to run this back up to get back into the match.
Could be a pivotal hand. A pivotal hand. But once you get into the sub 20 range, that's when you do start. It's getting shovey. It starts to get a little shovey.
Yeah. So we'll see how it plays out. If PetVet can kind of dwindle Michael down, that can work in her favor. But if Michael can quickly flip it back, like all of a sudden it's back to the same match that we were just in.
And that puts a lot of pressure on the player with the bigger stack here, because you have a lot of momentum, you have the chips, but you really don't want to double up your opponent. Unfortunately, if you want to take them out, you have to run the risk of doubling them up.
Yeah.
And that's picking those spots, I think, is difficult.
This is not the right start that Babker was looking for, to get queen 3 against an ace queen here. Like, now what does he do in this spot? Correctly folds, but that's kind of a tough decision to make. Then you get here and you've got 9-3. Like, how do you feel about this? Like, you've got to get back into this quick. But the dwindling down your opponent thing is a big thing. It's like my strategy that when I get heads up and I get into this range, I'm like, if I can dwindle you down from 18 to 12, that's huge, because then when you double up, you only go to 24 instead of going from 18 to 36. So those can be big. When you get aces, that can also help you. So, I mean, we'll see what happens here, but this might be just what Babker was looking for.
And I was going to say, he picked that 2.5 sizing. It was, I think Kim sniffed it out because he was playing off an 11 big blind stack or something at that point.
Kim didn't have that great of hand. A jam here with queen 8. Will Babker find the correct call with king 10, and would he hold?
I would call. I would call here with king 10 suited.
I think so with 13. It's kind of borderline. He does call. He's got 63%.
I like the
call. Is Kim gonna deliver?
Here.
Oh, a king high.
Okay.
Pair of kings is gonna be tough.
One brick. All right.
And there's the brick.
That's the double up.
Okay.
That's the double up.
Up to 27, and now it's very even. 33 versus 27.
That's all it takes. That's all it takes, right?
Just back in it. We were talking about the demise of Babker, and he said no. And wow, this could flip it.
This could be a big one. This could be a big one.
This could be an immediate flip. Because we've
seen the thing that's interesting, now that Michael has more chips, that might actually slow Kim down a bit. Because now that they're getting closer,
they're very close.
And they're both in these shoving spots.
Oh, we lost connection there for a bit, but it looked like it was like two big blind open, and then a call, and then okay. I think we're good.
And now almost even, back to exactly even.
I really wish we would have seen that, because like Kim can easily take those suited Broadway cards as a 3-bet.
Yes.
I know you were talking about taking queen 10. We had this exact example earlier. Use queen 10 suited as a call because of the suited playability post flop, but 3-bet the queen 10 offsuit. I was interested to see how that was going to play out, because if she does go for the 3-bet there, like ace queen's not backing down, and we could see a total flip of the action in just 2 hands.
Yeah.
But crisis averted. We're back to even, and we're going to see this battle continue.
So now you see Kim's limping with some of these hands. Once you get down to this stack depth, you really don't want to get raised over, and like it's so easy to just jam a lot over opens.
Yeah, that's the tough part, is when you have the 2 big blind open, and then your opponent can just jam 20, and you've got to give up those 2 big blinds a fair amount of the time. And do that a couple times, and all of a sudden the scales are going to start shifting back in your opponent's favor. Pair of 9s wins there for Kim, and she takes another slight lead.
I think she'll open this one probably to 2.1 if I had to guess. That's just 2. Interesting. She's really tuning into Michael's stack there.
Michael goes for a quick 3-bet and a small one too to go to 5.5. Is definitely on the small side. Kim quickly calls, but whiffs the flop. Babker checks, and now she gets a draw to go with it. But Babker's
Michael's got
ace high with the ace of clubs,
and he's got the gut shot.
He's got to go bet call here.
There it is.
The club on the river locks it up for Babker, but Kim doesn't have anything she can call with.
No.
This is going to give the lead. Yeah, Babker just jams, and he takes the lead. So now it's Michael's got the chip lead.
This is the great game of poker. It's anybody's game.
Don't miss
a few hands in either direction. That's all it takes.
If anyone was thinking about leaving, going to grab a drink, having a bathroom break, don't do it now.
No.
This is where all the fun all the action will be coming through. So you don't want to miss it now. We will have 2-minute breaks in between the matches if you need to, but
that's right.
This match could end on any hand.
Yeah,
very easily. Kim going for the check raise here with the gut shot straight draw. Babker also has a gut shot straight draw to go with his bottom pair. Kim now turns another straight draw.
And we're now in the point where the pot is about a third of the effective stack. So even though it's a kind of a speculative spot, you get to the point with these where someone's got to pull the trigger, and that's Michael coming in.
Michael getting the straight. Clubs came in. Kim bricked her draw but hit her bottom pair. I imagine she checks here, but she did go for a check raise line on the flop. Does she kind of try to keep the aggression going?
Could this be a bet fold spot?
Bets pot.
She bets pot, yeah. And I like it. I mean, I think Michael has to fold here a ton.
He calls.
Now, he's got the straight. Not when he has the. He's definitely calling with the straight. But I like the play from Kim to put him to the test there. It's a scary river. Yeah.
When she check raises the flop, and that's where I was kind of getting to, but my brain was like a little bit behind. It's like when she check raises this flop, isn't this river card great for her?
Yeah.
Because she has so much of those like middling cards, and it just made a pair for her, and made a straight for Michael. But a lot of situations that's going to work out. And what are we going to see here? Are we going to see Kim go broke? Are we going to see a chop pot? Do we see the action slow down on the turn?
Maybe. We just need a card higher than a 7.
And all right.
Everybody loves it.
Yep, you're going to have to sing it. You ready, Jim?
Everybody loves it.
All right. Everyone loves a chop pot.
Oh, you have a magnificent singing voice, Taylor. Don't demean yourself like that. Don't spread those calumnies and lies about your singing voice. It's
okay.
Delightful.
But that song is meant to be a duet, and you left me hanging.
Yeah, well, you slow rolled me like 8 months ago in the home game, so we're even.
You're still not over that?
I will never be over that.
That was one of the better slow rolls too.
It was on the stream.
Mm-hmm.
Of course you did.
Yeah.
Actually, I really thought I'd won the hand. By the time it was over, I was like, oh, I think I might actually... No, I'm busted. No, Joe just busted me. Yeah, that's exactly on it.
Yeah. Because you actually had a good hand, so like you were like wanting me to call. But I had aces.
It did not work out. It did not work out for me.
Another flush for Babker.
Wow. And he's moved from spades to hearts.
He just covers all the flush possibilities.
Yeah, that's right.
He goes for... Wow, Kim folds.
She's a technician. She's very disciplined.
That is a very disciplined fold. I thought that was going to be her demise there when the flush comes in. Second pair is tough to give up heads up. It's tough to make a pair in this game. It's tough to give up chips when you're this low. What a fold.
Especially when you start getting down and down and down like this, you are like, well, how good a hand am I actually waiting to make?
Yeah.
Because I'm going to be losing a big blind every hand. It's not like, again, when you're in heads up, you're playing every hand. So it's not like you get to just take some hands off. You're in there every hand. You're losing a big blind every hand.
Here's 2 pair for Babker. If Kim makes any movement at this pot, she's going to get some bad news.
If he checks here, she shoves.
One big. A call. I mean, what do you do here? Another half pot, 2 bigs. Is she going to find another disciplined fold here? You just can't knock her out of this tournament. You can't.
Wow. She knows what she's doing, right? It's amazing.
Jeez. Yeah.
It's amazing.
And now she gets jacks. She's rewarded.
And that's how it works, right? So is she going to get tricky with it here, or is she just going to put it in?
Probably just jam. I think you jam so much of your range here.
I
was
wonder.
surprised.
I thought he might call that one.
I honestly, if I was Babker, I think I just open jam a king for 8.5 bigs. So maybe Babker's saving himself some chips here with some folds. But things get really tricky. Like, we're playing 9 big blinds effective. Like, there's a lot of just rip, just jam, and
but it's lazy. It is. And you know, Kim's played enough tournaments, and you know, Kim's part of this Poker Friends Forever group with Stu and Elizabeth. I've traveled with them a little bit, and you know, talking to that group about their play at the end of the tournament day, it's all about like grinding that sub 15 big blind stack, and they know.
Oh no, is this it?
Oh, this must.
She jams. Oh no. I mean, Michael's got a call here. He's debating it.
He's got second pair. He doesn't want to double her up. It's looking.
It's an over bet
because it's a 3x pot bet. Yeah.
I feel like you still have to call. Like, is she gonna jam a king here? I just don't know. And there's the call.
Yeah.
And
needs a lot of help. Oh, and there it is.
A chop pot.
It is. What?
It was a chop pot.
It was.
Oh my god, Jim! Everyone loves a chop pot. Oh my god, Kim is saved by the River 10. I didn't realize that. I saw Babker's percent go to 0, and I was confused. And I was like, a 10? A 10?
I totally whiffed on the
oh my
chop
goodness,
pot, which is crazy because it's the theme of the night tonight.
Apparently. Wow. I thought that was the demise for Kim.
Me too. But if anyone can bring it back from 5.5 big blind stack, honestly, like I have a lot of faith in Kim right now.
I mean, it's a 10-1 chip disadvantage, and just made it even worse here. It's going to be down to a lot of jams.
Yes.
Like, if she jams this, it could be over. But yeah, she is grinding that short stack, that's for sure. I should have picked my underdog pick. I said it earlier too. And there's a jam. Well, Babker does not call with the queen.
All right, so this one for sure.
Yeah, but I don't think Michael's going to call. If Michael doesn't call with the queen, was it queen 6?
Yeah, he's
not calling with this. But Kim just added 40% to her stack, if not more.
Yep. That's it. Makes a big difference.
A lot of just fold decisions versus jam decisions that we have going on here.
And Michael's not playing a typical big stack game here. Typically, when you've got your opponent crushed, you should be opening more and not these little limps on the small blind, because you're
Kim
opening up options to your opponent. Yeah. And you're better off just putting her to some difficult decisions. Now, Kim's going to make good decisions when put in that spot, but still, you're not forcing your opponent to any errors.
You're forcing the equity to go in pre-flop with what you want it to be. You can get folds from your opponents. All those.
And at this stack depth, all folds are good folds. Like, it doesn't matter.
Oh, for sure.
Just them losing a big blind is more important than you winning a big blind at this point, because it's such a big portion of their stack, and you really want them to get desperate.
Yeah, and a jam and a fold here. Kim's gonna have a lot more playable of a stack. After just a quick moment ago where we both thought she was out.
True. And I think part of it for Michael, I think he does know that Kim's going to be shoving now a lot over his limps. So maybe there's a meta game where he's just limping. He's going to limp a lot, even with his good hands. And when she does shove, I think he's just going to call and snap it off.
Probably what he was hoping for is to get a good hand that he can limp trap with. And they both river a queen here. He bets pot, but Kim quickly calls now.
Quick call. I thought that she might even get a raise in there, but
no, I don't think much raising.
No, you're right. Given that, with the board. Yeah.
But 10-1 to 2-1 for a chip lead, and a jam. Queen Jack says no thanks. Queen Jack was close to a call, I think. I think you have king queen off. You're gonna go with it. Queen jack.
The next best hand.
It's probably the border for Michael is my guess. Bottom pair for second bottom pair. Michael turns some straight equity with a hand that he's already had with. Check, and then Michael hits a straight. I imagine based off how this is going, Babker's going to bet 3/4 pot. Pet bet's going to find a fold. Yeah. kind of understanding how this action's going.
Here's another limp, and he 2x'd Queen Jack offsuit on an earlier hand, and then it went right back to limping again.
Yeah, we've seen him mix up his strategy throughout the night here.
Finally makes a hand and gets the walk.
Yeah, and queens.
Is this a 2x?
Now he's going
here's
for
the limp.
a limp.
Here it is. And
I think off this stack size, I actually would have preferred a 2x, given that we saw her jam over that previously. Ooh,
wow.
Wow. Not the preferred route, I guess.
Although, to be honest with you, at least I don't think Michael loses a big pot here.
Yeah, he's going to be worried. Kim is playing it passive, too, so I don't imagine too much chips are going to go in the middle here, which is crazy given that he has queens. Is he going to just check down the whole way? He does check down the whole way and just correctly does not put another chip in the middle.
Yep. But just like that, Pet's at almost 18 bigs, more than half of Michael's stack, and she's clawing it up from 5.5.
That's what happens when you just get dealt winners a bunch of times in a row.
Truth.
So that can happen either way. It kind of happened for Michael for him to take that huge chip lead, but then, hey, law of large numbers. Eventually, it's going to go in Pet's way too.
Yep.
Feel bad. We were like getting ready to count Kim out, talk about Michael winning, but
it's true. On that one hand, I didn't see the chop coming.
It
was not on my radar at all.
Now, 2 unders versus open-ended draw. Babker hits a pair. I imagine Petvet's just going to slow down for the same reason that we saw Michael, when he took the same action before, slow down.
Yes.
So imagine this goes check a lot, especially with her rivering a pair, and he wins.
So not quite a 2-to-1 chip lead for Michael, but
we're seeing a lot of small pots play out here. So both players very cautious around their poker life as these are playing out.
Yes.
That's part of this. Like, you get into MaREC Madness, this happens once a year. Do you really want to, like, just go crazy, throw out it all on a bluff? Sometimes that's what it takes, but sometimes it takes that, like, perseverance to stay alive and stick with it.
It's true. It's a marathon, not a sprint.
Oh. But sometimes you do have to sprint.
That's right. The true wisdom is knowing when.
Yes. So 2 overs to go with this flush draw, and then we see Petvet go for the small raise here.
Super small raise.
And gets Michael to fold his second pair.
Yep.
I don't know what the exact equities were in that spot, but I think it was probably close to 50-50. So really interesting spot for them to get into. But Petvet takes it down, narrows that gap a little bit more. And
she's folding some I don't know if it's a function of the stack size or Michael's limp versus open ratio, but she's been laying down some hands pre-flop to his opens correctly.
Yeah.
That might be continuous.
I think she might be adjusting to some of that, and I think we've seen her adjust a bit in terms of like calling rivers in certain spots. In other spots where it'd be kind of more obvious, like, oh yeah, you've got, you know, second pair, just call down. But she's really evaluating those spots and paying attention to what Michael's value betting. And we've really only seen Michael value bet and not too many bluffs out of him. So she's making kind of that correct adjustment. which is way easier for me to say sitting on this side of the table.
Yes.
When I see all the cards and see how it's all playing out. When you're playing, you don't always see what your opponent has in all these spots, but you just gotta trust your read.
It's a lot easier if you can, for whatever it's worth. If you poker's actually, a lot of people don't know this, but poker's actually a much easier game if you know what your opponent's cards are. There's your tip of the day from Uncle Jim.
Yeah, you also get kicked out and barred and ridiculed for the rest of your life, like Mike Postel. Yeah,
very short-term strategy.
Yeah,
doesn't have a lot of upside.
Do not suggest.
Views expressed here are their opinions of the individuals and not of the organization as a whole.
Well, I mean, just like 5-10 minutes ago, I thought this match was going to end any second.
I know.
Given how it's played out, like I think this could go for a while yet, even though we've only got 40 bigs on the table. Is that what it is? Something like that? Yeah.
And this is why it's so important to study short stack poker, because almost every tournament ends in you getting short stacked. So the question is, what do you do then? Do you just punt it off because you hit a 50-50 spot and you like needed to know how this was going to end, or can you actually just like?
I said it might not end soon.
But this looks like it. We might see the shove from Kim here. Nope. Again, so disciplined.
Yeah.
Very disciplined.
I think she's picking up and making the read that Michael's only raising like the good hands, but I think Michael does have some limp traps in him, but we've only like really seen the cases where he's been raising the better of the hands. And a jack on the turn now flips the tables. Just what Kim was looking for, and she just turns it into a jam. Yeah. Interesting. I think Michael's gonna be able to get away from it. But smaller bets, something about it tells me he might have been calling some small bets there.
So yeah, you were saying, Taylor, Michael's been putting some traps in his limping range,
but she just hasn't seen them.
But he hasn't been, and he hasn't been weakening his opening range.
Yeah, so, his weakening range has always been strong, especially like when Kim has been able to see those hands. We haven't seen him raise many weak hands, so I think that's an adjustment that she's making is just whenever those raises come in, just be a little bit more cautious against it. Because I think versus players who open 100% of the time, she's going to take this ace-5 and make it a 3-bet. But for Babker specifically, I think she's changing that and going, okay, versus raises, I might just call because it's going to be a strong range, and I would have to 3-bet that very tight.
Yep. Ooh, this is an interesting spot. I mean, very board dependent, but
yeah,
got a chance for some fireworks.
Ooh, he goes for 4 big, and we haven't seen him do that much. I did not expect Kim to call there. Like, it's a tough, tough play to be.
It's tough to turn.
When you haven't
people
seen
don't
that
like,
much.
Especially recreational players. We don't like to turn baby pocket pairs into raises like that because we want to see flops and make sets.
But heads up, pocket pairs turn into very strong hands.
Completely agree.
Well, 12 out of 13 of them, but.
So who's gonna outplay who?
Oh, interesting. They both have the 10-5. They both made a pair.
Goes to who's in position.
I imagine it's just small betting and calls the whole way through. I think we're gonna have to sing. Get that voice ready. I don't think PetFet's gonna try and like muscle Michael out of there, and I think Michael is just gonna end up calling down.
Oh wow!
For sure. We're gonna see. La 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 la. And everyone loves a chop pot.
I honestly don't know the song. This is not a bit. I'm telling you, I'm for real. I don't know the song. My apologies to Stapes. I just it's a new one. It's a new one to me.
All right. I don't know how I could cue you up any better than what I just did.
You did a great job. No, you really did. You really did. I would be lying. I would basically be like faking it. I would be like lying if I continued and pretended that I knew what the song was when I didn't. I have too much integrity for your.
We're busy doing a broadcast here, but soon I will be sending you a link and you'll get to. Poker King. Taylor sung it to you 5 times. You know the song.
I'm a very slow learner. I'm pretty sure I know the lyrics at least by now.
Okay.
It's the
tune
that I'm struggling.
And it's fair. I can't carry a tune, so I probably am ruining it each and every time.
Oh no, you're fucking butchering it, man, for sure. But
right.
like even still, yeah.
We missed a great one of Jack High beating 9 High to get off of the singing bandwagon. All right. Well, we saw an open here, and then now Kim is defending the King 8. I thought that might be a kind of like an iffy one for her if what we're assuming is correct about how she's kind of viewing Babker's range. But bottom pair versus middle pair here, definitely interesting. I imagine Kim's kind of like in a buckle up mode. Like,
this
versus a tighter range, she might just be calling down here a ton. Because Babker's going to have a lot of overcards in this spot. It might just be bluffing a little bit too much. But she rivers 2 pairs. She's not going to worry about any sort of hand value. But does she lead is the question. She does. I think that's correct because Babker has been only value betting relatively strong holdings from what we've been seeing so far.
Wow, good. Correct fold there from Michael. Yep.
I think both of them are kind of making adjustments when it comes to that. So don't look, but we've got a very even heads-up match now with 20 bigs. We could have started this thing at 20 bigs. How long ago was that? Are we like 50 minutes into this thing? I think we might be. Be. We could have started this thing at 20 bigs, and everything would have been the same.
Amazing. Although now they have the whole metagame dynamic.
Yeah, now they have the experience, but like so much of this 20 bigs each heads up is just going to come out to card distribution. And boom! Wow. What a way to time that. See, my timing is impeccable, Jim. Just like I was saying before. He gets the aces.
Yep. No, I wasn't knocking your rhythm. I wasn't knocking your lyrics. No, you're really zeroed in on that.
The timing.
Listen, everyone loves the chop putt, right? Nailed it.
Nailed it. You're almost there.
Really
I would have appreciated that more than just laughing the last time we did that. But yeah, it's all going to come down to card distribution here. We're going to see how it plays out because 20 bigs, I can go quick. And we've got top pair versus flush draw.
Classic matchup. We're going to see the bet from Michael here for sure. And it wouldn't surprise me if this was the time that Kim decided.
I'm not surprised by the call. I think she's confident with her reads in this situation. Is just saying, like, I'm just going to call in this spot. But it does get tough when Babker bets again here. Because now I think she's thinking, he's got an ace high percent of the time. Do I want to call, hope to hit that?
It's a pretty small turn bet relative to the pot. And as stacks are getting small, you do tend to see those bet sizes go down as well. Now, do we get the jam from Kim here?
Likely, and we saw him fold the queen 6 earlier, so I think queen 4 is a relatively easy fold. But Kim's been through this before. She knows how to get herself out of a 10 big blind deficit.
Exactly. And she's already up to...
And we're already working our way
13
out.
and a half.
This could get interesting, though. I could see her taking a king as a jam. She takes it as a limp.
Now, Michael...
Okay. And a king high flop. Ooh, this could be it.
I wonder if Kim raises here. No.
I think she's just kind of in a call mode. Like, whenever Babker's betting, it's just been with value.
Yeah.
Like, call. I imagine it just goes call, so if Babker goes for everything, it could be over, but I think he's going to go like 4 bigs. 2.5. Yeah, it's going to be a quick call, and unfortunate news for Kim, but can she get out of this twice?
I don't think there was any other way to do that one.
I mean, either could have been more aggressive, but given how this has played out, I was not surprised to see that run out in that action. Could be over though if we get a queen here, because queen 8, oh, queen 7, so it wouldn't be over, but
both got a piece of it.
Yeah, in like weird
but
ways.
Kim's more likely to find the aggressive plays on those.
Yeah, gets a bet
spots.
and a fold through. This could even it up for Kim. Like, I don't imagine either of them folding here. She's going to take the jam, even versus the range that we're kind of assigning to Babker.
And then he's got to call.
He's going to call.
He's got to call here.
So it's, does he get a 9 or do we just even this thing up? And just like we thought, an inconsequential flop, keeping Kim ahead. Turn does nothing. And River says we're going back to close to even.
That's how it goes. So Michael still has a chip lead, but it's not. It's no sure thing. It's not like before.
Right.
Getting pretty close to even again. These two battling.
Wow. I told everyone to not take a bathroom break like 30 minutes ago, and now I'm starting to feel bad about it. We'll have a couple minutes after this one ends. If everyone
whenever this ends, we'll have our 2 minutes.
King high wins there and back to very close to even.
Very even. Kim probably just folds this one.
Yep. Yeah. I think from what we've been seeing, she's folding to the raises whenever she just has that bad holding pre-flop.
So Michael should be noticing that and starting to raise with more hands that he wants.
Like this king 3 like suited.
Yeah, this should be a raise. This should be a raise. Blocker value, playability when called. You can fold it to a 3-bet, and by limping, you're just letting Kim drive the action. Yep.
Kim's got a gut shot here. Babker's got king high that's good, but doesn't really want to do much betting. Are we just going to see a 2.2 big blind pot? That's my guess.
Looks like it. Kim just has so few chips. In a way, like it's really valuable to win some, but there's so few in the middle.
She does make a bet here, which
costs a lot to take.
Again, given kind of our reads on the situation, she's assuming Michael's betting with value. And really, on the river here, she's really just hoping he doesn't have a 10 or maybe a 5 checks twice. Right. And just trying to get everything else to fold, and it works out for her.
Still slight chip lead for Babker, but...
Oh, so slight. But back to the 20 each. Like, very close. And the blinds are going to go up in just a little bit here. So we're going to see both stack sizes dwindle quickly in terms of big blinds. Not this hand, but the next one.
Good point.
So even more pressure on a situation that already had enough pressure on it.
I'd like to see a bet from Michael here.
Which we do see. Probably just a fold from Kim.
Yep.
Yeah. Now the stack sizes dwindle. Not too much, because we have great structures here for MaREC Madness, but now we're not 20 big blinds each. Now we're 18. 17 and a half, something like that, for an average. A raise from PetFet. I'm not surprised to see a jam. Don't see a jam.
Yeah, tricky spot there.
But now what's this has the makings of kind of being that like oddly interesting hand where PetVet feels like she needs to continue the aggression and Michael just be like, I've got ace high. Ace high should be good. Ooh, but PetVet hits a pair. Does she continue the betting, and will Michael stick with it?
If she bets half pot or more, okay, there you go.
I imagine small sizing here, just given the stack size and the situation. Like, knights don't really want to go too big. Like, she's targeting ace highs and like low pocket pairs. The other things that Babker's calling with is queens, which she doesn't want to keep putting chips in the middle. Mm-hmm. So I do like the small sizing there, going after specifically like ace highs, which he folds, and it kind of ends up the way that you'd expect it to. But it was an interesting hand up until then.
Mm-hmm.
Like
now
if
Michael's betting his open-ended.
Yeah, and the previous one, if Kim doesn't make a pair on the turn there, what does she do? Because she's just got 9 high. And then does Babker still find a fold with aces? An ace high if she bets into him? I really wanted to see that one play out, but another one.
Just like that, Kim's got the chip lead now.
Yeah,
it's a small one, but it's official.
It's going to flip back and forth. And here we've got top pair versus open-ended straight draw.
Yep.
Top pair that doesn't feel too good, but is going for a check raise.
A little check raise
and a call.
Wow! What a turn!
Babker slows down now with the 4. Kim goes big. This might scare Michael, honestly. Like how this is all played out.
Wow!
Yeah.
Okay, I thought that was it for sure. Michael, great fold there. I'm with you, Taylor. I think
with how this has been playing out, and each of them have been playing, like I'm not too surprised to see that because we haven't seen Kim make many big bets. So when she does call a check raise and then goes for 3/4 pot on that turn, like that's got to be scary for Michael, and he correctly folds in that situation.
And when you've got the hand so locked up like Kim did there, and there's still 2 streets to go, I don't think there's much to lose by betting small. Mm-hmm. So I would like that more.
It's such a strong line too, because Babker just check raised her,
right?
And then after the check raise, she goes 3/4 pot. Like to me, that like it doesn't get much stronger for a line in that spot. But this feels like we're watching a boxing match that's in like the 12th round. Like both fighters like exhausted, like just waiting for that final bell to ring. But we're watching the last little bits here, which now Babker's below 10 bigs, and turns top pair. But Kim rivers a flush. Man, all this is coming down to card distribution.
He's still got top pair here, which is
checks. She bets. How does he feel about this? He's got a bluff catcher. It correctly folds. Dang,
amazing.
So many correct folds.
That's the thing. This match in particular, these two are really zeroed in on each other's tendencies or sizings or something. They're making great laydowns.
Crazy. I've had both of them down to sub 7 bigs now.
Yeah.
Just crazy.
So now Kim, now that she has this pretty big chip lead, I think we're going to see her step on the gas more.
Yeah, and I think that was the prime example right there, where she's got 5 high, but she still puts out a single big blind bet. She's not going to check. She's going to say, do you have anything, Michael? Which Michael's going to say a vast percent of the time, no, I don't have anything, and she's going to win the hand. If she gets called, she's just shutting it down after that pot. So that's like just minor aggressions she can take. And then here she is putting foot on the pedal, jamming the king 7 into Michael, just trying to dwindle him down. And what's Michael going to do here with a king? He just open folds a king off of 7 bigs correctly because Kim's got an ace. And then Kim's going to jam this. Michael is just dwindling down now because I imagine a fold down to 5. He's looking for his spot. 10-8 versus King Queen. Oh, I thought maybe we were gonna have King Queen win twice tonight. Not there.
And this is the problem.
But yeah, now he's down to 4.5 bigs. He's got 7-4.
Oh, so it's got to pick a hand here.
This is what Michael should have been doing earlier. What Kim is doing now is just putting all the pressure on him to call off in certain spots, and then Michael's hesitant to jam into her because he doesn't want to with marginal holdings. And here we see kind of a very light. Did anyone guess Jack 7? Or 9-6, I guess, would be the winning hand. But Jack 7 hits a pair. We're going to need a 9 to end it. Otherwise, put 7 bigs in Michael's
New
stack
life.
and keep this going.
New life. I think B Jammin was in there with the 9-6. That was his moment. That was his chance.
Where was the B Jammin 9-6? He did have the 9-6. That was his chance to win. Oh, it was right there.
It was right there.
Oh, you can't believe it.
Oh,
no. No. Pause the stream.
Oh, no, he's
Pause
not
it.
called. He's not called.
Oh. Whew.
Whew, that was close.
That was.
Taylor, you almost had to say, like, good hand there. That would have been tricky.
But
that would have been awkward.
We just
awkward
let the...
for you, really.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you saw it. Like, oh, this is going in. Deuces versus Ace King.
Here it is.
And
all right,
we'll Deuces hold. This is classic 50-50.
6 outs.
Well, that's an ace,
no.
but
back.
No 5s. Get the 5s out of here. We don't like seeing 5s. Backer doubles.
Double.
Up to 10.
Max Payne. Insult to injury. Hit them both. Only needed one.
Only needed one. We didn't need any 5s coming out though.
And just like that again. Over 10 big blinds.
Yeah. And he was down to 3?
Amazing. Oh, here it goes. Here it goes.
Yeah, jam and again, this is like a classic 50-50 too. Yeah, we get the all in. This is even closer, 51-49.
Yeah, suited, baby.
Oh, ooh. That's a good start for the 3s. He's gonna need.
Spades.
He needs a 5 now.
Oh wait, no, he get a 5.
It doesn't come through.
Right.
Kim.
That was close. What a
comeback.
Holy cow.
Holy smokes.
No kidding.
Kim.
Like, you can't counter out. You cannot counter out. You cannot. She is a technician. She knows how to grind that short stack. Congratulations. And well played by both players there. That was
I think
really
both of them need a nap after that. I might need a nap. Holy smokes. What a line. that was fun.
Well, we got Michael in the chat here. He's saying,
yeah.
For the record, I didn't have a match last year go under an hour. I had a reputation as a marathon man. You did it.
Yeah.
You did it, man. You absolutely did.
I think that was well over an hour. I think we were at like an hour and 10 minutes, something like that for that match. Holy smokes.
Crazy.
Well played, both of you. You both made really good reads on your opponents there, and we kind of saw it all play out. So
100%.
No one guessed 3-3, nor did we have the 9 of clubs come through. But that doesn't mean that your chances are out. We still have 2 more matches tonight, starting with this next one. We're going to have Joe Willis and Ben B Jammin 96 coming through in the chat. So 2 matches coming up here. If you want to get your guesses in right now, I see Poker Geek always has a unique strategy. Last year he started with like Deuce 3 and then like elevated it 1 ranking each and every time. Now he's just picking the prior match as the next match's winning hand. He just last match he guessed King Queen. Now he's guessing 3-3. So he's going for a repeat. I like it. Believe it or not, we had someone guess pocket 5s.
Wow.
Odd.
Who could that have been?
We will never know. They're anonymous.
Yeah. Oh, they seem to have been blocked in the chat for some reason.
Strange.
So strange.
We got pocket 9s guessed, King Jack being guessed. So get those guesses out there. Again, I can't guarantee that you win, but I guarantee that you won't win if you don't put your guess out there. So put the guess out in the chat, and we'll see what happens. But next match coming up here in 12 seconds. So we're going to be starting up here soon. Joe Wills versus Ben Enslow. Who do you got, Jim? Quick!
Ooh, this one's going to be tough. I got to go with my man Ben because he was like one of my first rec poker friends I ever made, and I'm rooting for him. Also, another friendly Canuckian. I might be taking a full Canadian slate. What about you?
Fair. I'm going to stick with my Twitch buddy, B Jammin, because we both stream on Twitch, so I'm going to go with him, but you stole my pick. I don't know enough about Joe Wills. Like I don't think I've played with him. I've played with him in the home game a few times, so I'm unfamiliar with his game. But I'm going to go with my friend, my acquaintance, B Jammin, so we're going to have another agreement here. Looks like we've got the cards off a bit. Hopefully we can get it like structured a bit.
Yeah, just having a little trouble finding that frame. I will say, your Pet Pet's in the chat now saying, yeah exhausted.
Pet Pet 33, but 3-3 may be a new fave hand. Oh man, what a long match. Yeah.
Yeah, that was great.
Unbelievable.
That was great. So I will say one great way to get to know Joseph Wills better would be to hang out at his amazing home game club in Las Vegas that he runs with his wife Tony, just south of South Point. Fantastic group. They run No Limit Hold'em and mixed games. You can find out more at the Poker Oasis. But Joseph's been getting more and more involved at Rec Poker over the last little while. We're all getting to know him better, and we like what we learned. I'm looking forward to getting to know Joseph and Tony even better over the next little while.
Nice. And we'll see how he plays in this heads-up match. His first time in MaREC Madness. Not Ben's first time in is this Ben's first time in MaREC Madness? He helped me with the commentary, I think, the first year.
Oh, yeah, he was in
but
the
I don't
booth
think he
in the
played.
First year.
Yeah.
Did he play last year? I don't remember.
I think he played, but that's something that we should have checked in the show notes before going live. That's my mistake.
It's the first week. It's the first week. We do this once a year, for God's sake. Cut us a break.
I'll write it in my notes for next year to keep track of that a little bit better. But
he says he played and busted in the first round. Yeah, he was in it. I thought there was
something about that, and then I second guessed myself. But here we didn't see this much in the last match, but 3/4 pot bluff here on the river. I mean, it's gonna work. Joe's got 8 high. There's no way he can call.
Right. But it is
it's interesting to see that line being taken by Ben. Yeah.
Yep.
Showing the willingness to bluff. We had a hour-long match where there just wasn't much bluffing going on, and
true,
which is strange after the first match where there was a lot of bluffing, a lot of semi-bluffs and all that going through. So we'll see what this one turns out to be, and how each player.
And it's interesting as you see these excellent players adjust to each other. In the game, in the match with a lot of bluffing, there was also a lot of light calls. And in the match where there was not a lot of bluffing, there was a lot of tight folds. And so it's great to see. These are intelligent poker players adjusting to the conditions that they're in. I love to see it.
It'd be really interesting to flip the matchups a bit too. Make one from each. The first 2 matchups play each other.
That's right. Hey,
which we may see later on.
I was gonna say, it's a good point. That's a good point.
We'll see how it goes through, but yeah. Oh, and here's a big bet on the turn here. 3 times the pot. Wow, Joe can put his foot on the gas pedal too. I think we're in for an interesting one here. Just after the first few minutes, let's.
And these two players don't know each other as well as some of the other players do as well. So I think the metagame and the dynamic is going to be different because they're going to be more kind of playing their own game against each other and less sort of playing each other's game.
And turned 2 pair versus turned gut shot draw. But clubs on the board could make this a little bit hesitant for each player, but Ben says, I bet pot. What's Joe going to say? I could see all options kind of being on the table here.
Me too.
Call comes through in the straight hits.
That wasn't the straight you wanted to make.
Yeah. He really had 3 outs, not 4 outs, but it turns out that was actually an out. But does he just check back here? Both of them have like good value hands, but scary with the 4 clubs on the board.
Very scary.
Yeah.
Very scary. And you alluded to it earlier, Taylor. If Joseph was doing his research, he's got a whole year of footage from Ben, because Ben streams his play every Friday and Saturday. And he's also really good at sharing his thoughts as he plays. He's always you can tell he's enjoying himself. He runs a great room, always has good tunes, and has a lot of fun. And his fun is infectious. I encourage folks to check out his stream on Fridays and Saturdays. You can see those events at the Rec Poker calendar, or just go to twitch.tv/BGM96.
Nailed it. Yeah. He's also in the chat, so just go to the chat. He's right now the most recent message. You can click on his name, and it gives you the option to follow. Even though you're not watching his channel right now, you can click on his name and click follow, and then you'll follow his channel. And let me tell you, what does it cost to follow a Twitch channel? It is free. I'm giving you the discount right now.
Yeah, Taylor's going to cover your. Normally it costs something, but Taylor's such a big guy. He's just going to cover your fee this time, your follow fee. So take advantage of that. Get in there.
Yeah, I'll cover it. It's free. Go right ahead. You can also follow this channel. That's also free.
Well, we would love that.
Yeah. Again, it's like if you're watching the thing, it's the little heart below the channel here. So go click that.
Yeah. Go follow Ben's stream and then come back here and follow our stream.
You don't even have to leave here to follow Ben's stream. I gave him all the instructions, Jim. Were you not listening?
I mean, that would be even better. That would be even a better outcome.
A check raise here from Ben with the 9 of diamonds. The 9 of diamonds is a nice card to have on this board, and he does get it through.
Mm-hmm. Love it.
So
he be jamming.
Yeah, he be jamming. It seems like we're going to see a lot more aggressive actions, less showdowns in this matchup. So we're going to have to pay attention to all the action as it's unfolding.
Now, Joseph plays a lot of mixed games. He plays a lot of full ring tournaments. I think Ben might have the short-handed experience here because even if it's just in the Rec Poker home games, he's played so many final tables. He's gotten short-handed in so many of those over the years. But Joseph plays a lot more live too, and Ben plays a lot more online. So we might see kind of an intersection of those strategies here.
Yeah, it is interesting because even in all these situations, like a lot of poker players don't play much heads up. All things considered, like it is kind of a lost art form in the game, and it is very different than all the other situations. Like even 3 max is way more normal for a lot of people. Playing heads up is very different. Another 3x pot size bet here from Joe.
Love these over bets from Joseph.
Just hammering it. We saw it once with a bluff, now here with trips. Very interesting bet sizes to take and pressure that's going to be put on Ben. I have a feeling this could come down to that 3x pot bet coming out later, and either a call from Ben that tips it way in Ben's favor or tips it way in Joe's favor. That's my prediction now after seeing the first 10 minutes or so of the match. Like it kind of has that feeling that it's going to come down to one big hand.
Well, that's a high volatility spot, right?
Exactly.
When we're playing like that, those big bets, and usually you're going to see a pretty polarized range in those. So picking it for the trip 9s on the flush board is interesting. I think he really is kind of like establishing a pattern here, and hopefully, I think Joseph is going to try and spring the trap a little later on with him.
Yeah.
Taylor, you talked about how we don't play a lot of heads up as recreational players. Not only do we not play a lot of heads up, but it's the most expensive hands we're ever going to play. It's when all the biggest pay jumps are. It's when the most money is. And it's a spot that's very difficult to practice. It's difficult to study and practice meaningfully, which is one of the reasons why we started our quarterly qualifying maps. So every June, September, and December, on the 3rd Saturday of the month, you can play in our qualifying ladder bracket tournament, similar to this, where you just get to play your way through the field of heads-up matches, and it's a very good simulation of what playing in an actual high-pressure heads-up environment is like. So I encourage folks to come and try it for free and get the practice in, because you don't want to be thinking about this stuff for the first time while you're actually playing heads up for money or for a significant prize or something like that. It's a hard thing to study. It's a hard thing to practice. Practice with us and study for free and become a better player so that you already know some of this stuff and you feel comfortable with this dynamic when you start playing short-handed yourself.
Yeah, it is very much the most highest dollar for when you get into that spot. The tough part is like getting into that spot, because how often do you get heads up in a tournament? It just doesn't happen that frequently, especially with a lot of rec players that play mostly just large field MTTs. and then even the smaller field dailies that go through end and chops a lot of the time. So it's kind of a spot that like a lot of people kind of just ignore, don't play that much. But if you get good at it, you can win 65% of the time in a heads-up match. That'd be amazing. And then that's going to come in their biggest times where you're playing for the most money. So study it. See how good you can become at heads-up play. Win your way into MaREC Madness, and we'll talk about you next year.
That's right. You could be competing against Joe Ingram next year, or whoever our resident ringer is.
Yeah, right.
We might expand the field next year. We might bring it up to 32 next year. You never know. We could get a couple ringers in there.
Good, because this wasn't already time-consuming for me to put all this together. What would doubling the field do anyways?
Oh, nothing exponential.
Yeah.
I mean, I wouldn't worry. I wouldn't worry too much about that. I mean, if you're going to be all selfish about your own personal time, like, whatever.
We might just skip every first-round matchup if that's the case. Because that would add another 4 weeks to this. If we did 4 matchups a night, like, you'd have to get through all of those.
I mean, that's true. We could... Oh, we'll take this production meeting off the air and talk about this.
I've already scrapped your 32-person bracket idea. We're on to the next one.
All right. Well, Joseph's in the driver's seat here with second pair, but doesn't look particularly comfortable, does he? So going for the pot control there. And I think if Joe checks again, I think Ben's just going to check behind and get this ace.
Probably with ace high. For a single big blind, odd the sizings that we're seeing from Joe. I don't mind the one big blind bet here, but what does Ben do in this situation?
Yeah. It's an interesting spot because...
how often does someone take a one big blind bet, though, as a
That's
bluff
the question,
because
like he's getting really good odds, but...
like if you've got 9 high there, are you betting one big blind?
Right.
Dang it! The home game person who does home games every single night is now asking if we should do MaREC Madness every month.
I just saw that. That's the definition of scope creep. Mission creep. Yeah, that's right. All of a sudden. Oh, John.
A home game on the hour, every day.
That's what we're missing. That's what we're missing, I think. 24 uniquely formatted home games every day.
Right. You don't want them to be the same.
No, I mean, that's boring.
Yeah. And on a rotating schedule. So you can...
Yeah, and not like on the hour, but like at a weird random starting time.
Oh.
Still 24 of them in a day. But, you know, like not every hour on the hour. So, let's shake it up a little bit.
Take that as your meeting notes to send to John afterwards. With leaderboards. We got this. All the good ideas rolling
sounds in.
Great. Send them to jim@rec.poker. All the home games that you have.
That's right. John, I quit.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
All right, we've got ace king kind of setting a trap. Queen 8 betting into ace king. Queen now on the turn.
Brings in the flush, and I always wonder in these spots where your hand has improved, but does that mean that you should be betting? And I don't, this is going to be interesting.
And now Joe takes the lead. I've seen this a lot from players where they slow play, and then it gets to a point and they're like, I shouldn't slow play anymore, let me bet. And that puts a lot of red flags up in my head as I'm looking through these different things. And I think there was a red flag in Ben's head because usually that rivered king is pretty good for his pair of queens there, but it correctly checks behind and hands the pot over to Joe, who was trying to trap him. So I think that line actually cost Joe a little bit of money there by trying to be tricky.
I think so too, and here's the tip, and I mean this one sincerely. If you have that feeling where it's like you were slow playing and then all of a sudden the next street comes and you're like, go, I guess I should be fast playing. Usually that means you waited one street too long. You probably should have played it a little faster on the earlier street.
Mm-hmm.
But we get into these spots where it's like, now the bad event has happened, and we try and like make up for it.
Try and account for what we missed out last time. I should have been aggressive last street, so now it looks bad. Now I'll be aggressive. Yeah.
No, it's compounding that error.
Totally
it really
fine
changes.
To just chill out. Yeah.
Yeah, like sometimes the bad event happens. The bad card comes, and you're just not going to win every hand.
We saw that earlier too. I forget, was it Kim who got pocket queens versus pocket sevens, and it's like, oh man, if they would have fast played this, things would have got crazy.
Yes.
But then it was an ace king 10 flop,
Yeah.
and then they both put the foot off the pedal. Like another player in that situation could get kind of crazy and be like, I've got like, I missed my opportunity. Now I've got to bet. And it's like, no,
that's right.
That's not always a valid reason.
Yep. I think it was jacks versus sevens on that exact
board. Jacks
yeah,
versus sevens.
Ace king 10. Yeah, that's it. So yeah, don't slow play.
Well, slow playing can be okay.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Don't do it.
Do it.
Don't
do it.
Don't
do it.
Don't listen to Taylor.
Pair versus pair here.
Taylor has two small children at home.
Pair versus pair here, but on a 3-club board. No one has a club.
Yeah.
Probably slow action.
One pair on a monotone board is nothing to party about, but we get the overbet.
It is an overbet.
Then
that's a party.
That's a party. That's a Kaylee.
Usually on those monotone boards, when you see bets, it's usually to the smaller sizing, because it is very static in a sense that like the best hand is a nut flush, and that's not going to change all too often. So therefore, like when that logic is true, usually what solvers and general theory says is you can bet smaller in that case. It's really the dynamic boards where whatever the best hand is going to change on a decent amount of turn cards. That's when the big bets start to come in and deny equity.
And you see that
go for value versus worse hands, big bluffs, all those things.
It's just very similar to like the chicken boards, where like the low paired boards, the monotone boards are hard to hit, and it's a situation where a small bet can achieve the same effect as a large bet on the majority of your opponent's range. So you just don't need the bigger bet.
Yeah. Goes check here with Ben rivering second pair. He's just going to take down that pot. I don't know if he's going to get much value from his opponent in that exact spot, but I think I would have liked to see a value bet there. With the betting that's been going on, I think we can widen up our value bet range that we have in these spots.
We'll definitely see an open from Joseph here. See what sizing he uses.
Yeah, and I haven't been paying too close attention to the sizing. I think it's been a lot of 2.5x, so this makes a lot of sense. I had to take a little bit of a mental break after that marathon that we just saw, but
yes.
Seems relatively normal for ace-9 to open up here and king-5 to defend, but both of them whiff. So it's going to be the first one to throw a bet in, I think is going to end up winning.
Which is true of a lot of poker hands. Like, you know, it's hard to hit a flop. It doesn't happen very often. So it's just more reason to be the one betting and not the one check calling.
Right. And another reason why position is so great, because you can wait for your opponent to check to you and then put that bet out there and win that a little bit more than your opponent usually does.
Yep. And there's nothing wrong with just winning a small pot. Even if you're ahead, there's nothing wrong with winning a small pot.
We're starting to see a little bit of separation between these two, and as I say that, Ben gets dealt a premium hand, but 60 bigs versus 40 bigs. Nice size lead for Joe. He's kind of been holding on to this lead ever since we started this matchup, but this has the makings of flipping it the other way, but a gut shot draw, backdoor spades. Could be interesting how this one plays out.
It's not a great... I mean, this isn't the board you want to see when you open pocket queens from the button. There's a lot going on there. But I think this is a mandatory bet. Oh, he chooses that slight overbet again.
Overbet again.
This is the overbet brothers, these two.
Yeah, and we'll see how Joe reacts to this, because my initial thought was, oh, it's going to go bet call no matter what, but versus the overbet, he does find the fold even with his gut shot draw, which in hindsight looks like it was very correct, and he gets rewarded for his correct fold with the pocket J's.
That's it. So we'll see that 2.5 opening again, I expect here.
What I would imagine here. 2 2/3, 2.67. Might be a metric of the blinds that we have at this exact moment, but
yep, I see.
Him choosing like a chip size instead of a big blind size, but relatively the same. Not too different.
So I'm just calling here, I think, at this stack depth, but you could turn some of these into 3-bets here.
You could.
His heads-up dynamic.
But I don't remember seeing Joe 3-bet more before this, and it's always tough to make 7-6 suited your first 3-bet. Even in that like meta game feel of things, it's like, do you really want 7-6 suited to be your first 3-bet that you're taking?
I do, because people always fold to your first
one
3-bet. Like you don't want your first 3-bet to be pocket aces, because everyone's going to fold.
Ben hits trips.
Well, that's something that the poker gods have control over.
Yeah, but Joe is still not.
He's got that 5.
Oh, and Joe's betting into Ben.
Oh boy,
he's not dead though. A 5 will give him the straight for the win. But it doesn't come through. Now, what does Joe do? He's got one of those key bluffing hands, and he takes the check route.
So Ben's obviously going to bet here with trips.
Yeah, and Joe's just going to end up folding. Get called. I think the interesting part, though, was does Joe continue his betting line and turn 7-6 into a bluff? Because it is like the worst hand he has here in this spot.
Right.
So I was curious if that was going to like resonate with him and turn his hand into a bluff. He didn't block any spades, so it was potential that Ben had spades in that spot. But correctly just gives up and moves on to the next one. As we see the stack sizes go back to even. So we had a limp raise and then a call on the button in position by Queen 5 suited. Seems fine to me. Like when you limp, you're going to have to find some calls. Like I said before, I think a suited queen is going to work well enough as a limp call. Opponent has ace king though, so it doesn't look as good. But you usually can
talking about. Sorry.
You can usually play Queen 5 suited pretty easily post flop, especially in position.
It's like we were talking about with Michael's play earlier about sort of anticipating those raises when you're the one making the limps. Just thinking a couple moves ahead there.
Yeah, that's the tough part about like implementing a limping strategy is you don't just think about like what am I limping. You think about the next parts, which is like how am I going to react to raises? How am I going to play post flop with this limping range? Because it is a bit different for people. And finds a way to river a pair of 5s and steals that one away from ace king. It was a decent sized pot too, given the pre-flop action.
Yep. Slides that advantage over to Joseph a little further there. Not a drastic chip lead.
That too crazy.
Just covering the other player makes such a huge difference, even if it's only by 1 chip. It just really changes the dynamic of who can shove over who.
Yep, exactly. So we've seen a lot of raises from Joe. I imagine he's going to raise here, and I think Ben's going to call with the king 3. So we're going to have a domination type of situation for Ben. Well, this is a big raise now.
Interesting.
Going almost 3.5, and it's going to get a fold out of Ben. Yeah. Interesting why that all of a sudden was taken for a raise size.
Especially as the stacks are slowly getting smaller and smaller. You know, typically you see the default raise sizes get smaller. Get the walk.
The walk with aces. We've seen that a lot tonight, haven't we? I feel like we've seen aces.
Yeah.
Is it like 3 times we've seen aces?
Right. I think 3. I think that's the third one. Yeah.
And none of them have gone post flop?
Amazing. What are the odds?
I always say
keep it exciting here.
The most likely hand you are to get a walk with is pocket aces, because you block your opponent from having decent chunk of their raising range. So whenever I'm playing live, I never look at my big blind hand until it's on me, for the chance that I get a walk and it's pocket aces. I just don't want to see it.
That's a pretty good one.
Yeah.
That's a pretty good one. Now you're still, while the action's happening, you're constructing your continuing range.
I know what I'm doing from the big blind. Yeah, like
right.
I
so
once
you
I
just look
see
down
my
and
hand,
see is it in that range?
Yeah.
I love it.
But if I get the walk, I'm just pitching those cards in the middle. It's only ever bad news. You're never like,
true.
oh, cool, I had like deuce 3 offsuit. Like, cool, that's great news, but you still had a walk. Nothing changed.
Yeah, it's true.
When you have pocket aces, then it's bad news.
Why would you invite bad news?
Exactly. Good karma only
like
in this place.
Right.
Yeah. I'm sad we haven't seen another huge bet from Joe, because I thought that's where this match was going to end up going, was a sprint, not a marathon. But
yeah.
It seems like they've kind of settled in and decided to play the long game here. Ace 10, what are we going to do here? We've seen a lot of 2.5. Now we go 3.4 again. That bigger size.
With those different sizes.
Ben folded King 3 previously, and now it's King 5. I imagine another fold here. King 5 is not all that different.
It's even worse than King 10, if you can imagine a hand. If you can
I
imagine a hand worse than King 10 offsuit, that's
I believe it. And now the Ace King goes over to
Ben's
Joe.
Gonna limp this one.
He does.
Yep.
And then what's Joe going to do for raise size?
So this one's got to be at least 4 if it's consistent.
Based off the prior action, but I could also see him
right?
being consistent and going to that 3.4. Yeah.
There it is.
There's just something about that, like, I've just made this bet before. I'm going to continue to make it. And we get a call from Ben. A pretty good flop for his hand, all things considered.
Oh, definitely. 2 overs and a gut shot. That's hard to beat when you're looking at that. There's that over bet. Now, it's a different sizing for this one. It's like 1 1/3.
Yeah. Ben is thinking about it.
You could jam. You could jam if you're Ben.
You can always jam. You can always be jamming.
You can always be jamming.
You can always be jamming. But was that the right spot for it? I don't know. You just get called by all the pocket pairs.
I'm always looking for non-value jams myself.
Right. But that was an interesting
don't tell
one.
anyone. Don't tell anyone that.
Well, I know that about you, so it wasn't any news.
Just keep it between us, please.
What's your poker star's name? What's the first, 5 letters of it? Is it Bluff?
I'll have to get back to you on that. Is this being recorded?
Yes. All right. Bring it back in. We've got a monster here. 3-9 versus 10-3. It didn't go anywhere. And pocket aces, number 4 tonight.
Yeah.
And I don't think this one's going post flop, unless he limps. Like he could. He has been raising big previously. He might keep up with that, or I could see the index. Oh, I gotta go small. I gotta limp. I gotta trap. Goes big, 3.25. I think we see a lot of folds here, though. Yep. Aces 4 for 4 on not seeing a flop.
Yep. You don't want to see a flop with drawing hands like that. No.
Oh yeah. It's only the nuts pre-flop.
Think about it. And even then, you're like 10% of the time you're going home broke, right? Get it all in pre-flop.
Yeah. Sometimes, who wants to run that 90%?
In this economy?
Yeah.
Seems very risky. I only get it in with the nuts. It's just that's a smart. I'm very risk averse.
Makes sense. Makes sense. Top pair for Joe here in a limped pot. Betting one big blind and getting it through.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Huge advantage to Ben here.
Right.
Huge advantage.
This is almost like a free roll, but he has no idea.
Suited, he's in position. Hard to imagine a better spot for Ben Henslow here.
And look at that. Joe knows he's being free rolled and just folds.
Disciplined fold from Joe.
I really wish someone watches this back on YouTube, was not paying attention, only was listening to us, and it's like, I have to go back and see that hand. What was that 3-2 versus 3-2? What? Two unders versus top pair, but a straight draw for Ben.
Got the straight draw. The 5 could turn this whole thing around.
So tough to chase that though. It's 4 very specific.
You got
outs.
3
It
outs.
makes and
three,
it even
3 clean outs.
You're even hoping your opponent doesn't have like the 8-9 or anything that makes the better straight.
Right.
So
right.
Really tough spot. He does find the call and he hits bottom pair, but a club that is somewhat scary. Probably check on this turn. Is that what you're thinking?
Mm-hmm. It's an interesting spot though, because when you're on a draw and another draw comes in, you can now represent that. This is something Chris and John taught me back in the day.
Yeah, and this is what Ben just did, betting, is that 3/4 pot here with the bottom pair. He still has his gut shot, but the clubs came in. It is scary for a lot of the hands that Joe has here. And Joe finds the call.
He does.
And what are we going to see on the river? Because I could see an all-in jam.
Shove this here. Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
Keeping up with the story, he does. Can Joe make the call? This could be the match.
The play.
Oh,
there it is.
Top pair. He gets top pair to fold.
It is.
Oh, look at Ben. Like, is he showing it?
That it was stuck.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I think his heart is beating like crazy right there. Was my guess.
But I think that's an old John Somsky trick, where you're playing a straight draw, but you're representing the flush draw that came in instead, because your action looks very similar because you're playing a draw. So you just represent the other draw when it comes in. Maybe it was Chris. Chris and John
Somsky,
are both so smart.
That's a Somsky classic.
I think that one was John.
Yeah. It's a classic poker geek move. But after that big bluff, getting through,
I really liked having John on the team.
Yeah, sorry that he quit, but maybe we can get him back.
Buy him a beer, everyone. If you see John Somsky out there, buy him a beer and say, please come back to.
Yeah, we need you.
Okay, sorry.
But things did even up after that big bluff got through, so now we're back to even. But now Ben going for another bluff here on the flop with ace-3 offsuit. The queen comes in and gets even more scarier for Joe. Like, Joe can't love this, but he did get a straight draw to come in with it. A not so great straight draw. And leads. Oh, the gloves are coming off here. They're ready to stop with the small ball.
These guys are going at it. I think Ben's just going to let this one go.
I think he has to after your bluff on the flop doesn't get through. Even when you do turn some equity where a king will make you Broadway, essentially they're not straight, I still think you have to give up in that situation. It's such a tough line to play against, and I'm surprised Joe took it with second pair and then third pair with the straight draw to go along with it. But when you get check raised, or you get raised in general, and then you lead the next street, like, that is such a sign of strength. Like,
super strong.
It's a very tough line to assign bluffs to.
So again, what did we say earlier in the show, folks? Try and reverse engineer some bluffs into that spot. People won't be expecting it.
Joe did. He took a hand that I would not expect to lead there. But you also have to be careful with that. You can't just turn every time you get check raised into well, I'll just lead, because they're not expecting this. It'll be great for me. Everything in moderation, right?
Mm-hmm. We shouldn't always prioritize like disguise or cleverness over the actual strength of your hand.
All right, ace queen, ace queen. No suits are blocked. That's the only thing that's gonna stop.
It's like a four flush.
Yeah.
That's the worst. You can see this getting all in pre-flop and then just having some devastating four flush run out. Those are the most painful. Those are the ones that hurt the most.
Mm-hmm. They are the worst.
I've done it. I've had aces versus aces in and lost to a four flush. Carry that with me like a scar on my heart. Yeah, that hurts.
It's awful. Ben, don't time out. I imagine this could see a lot of chips go in the middle here. Oh, a small
tiny
raise. Very small.
So Joseph, I think, has to be thinking about the 4-bet here.
Right. Or does he call, given the small sizing? Like, how often do people just do that with aces? No, he jams it. He puts it all in the middle. We call it off.
Insta-call from Ben, of course.
And...
Oh, do we get to do
Rainbow
our song
flop, and yeah, it's...
Rainbow flop.
La 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 la. Everyone loves a chop pot.
Everyone loves a chop pot.
All right.
How'd I do? I told you. It's better if I just chuckle awkwardly.
That might have been better. How well you did this last one.
Chop pots are the theme tonight.
Yeah.
You know, a couple of years ago, Stapes even volunteered to come do one of these with us. I think
there were some poker stars.
We weren't on poker stars.
Yeah,
yeah, it's too bad. It's not. Maybe we should come and knock it, lead them down the rose tinted path again, or whatever the hell they said in that interview. I don't know what. Something like that. The primrose path. I think he said we let him down the primrose path. I don't know. It was like several years ago.
Cotton socks. I don't know.
That's a real thing, damn you. The cotton socks is a real thing. Bless your cotton socks is a real expression that people have said in the world before me on that podcast episode.
And bless yours as well.
Thank you.
Yeah.
That is the appropriate response.
Right.
See, we're expanding your horizons. See, Rec Poker Rob agrees. He says that is a real thing. And John Somsky was in the chat earlier. He said he heard it on another podcast as well. I stand by that.
Yeah.
Rec Poker Rob, bless your cotton socks. Thank you. For standing up for truth.
All right. Ace-6 suited, finding the 3-bet here. Oh, and a call. And a diamond flop. Uh-oh.
Diamonds.
Uh-oh.
Now, let me see.
It's so rare. We're blocking all the diamond outs.
Yeah.
But do they get aggressive? Just a call.
Slow. There's no, they both have the Broadway draw now.
Straight draw to go with it.
Effective stack's about twice the pot, so this is very get-it-inable.
If Ben checks, I could see Joe just straight up jamming.
Mm-hmm.
But versus bet, does he just call instead?
I don't know.
There's the jam.
Yeah.
Oh, it puts Ben in a tough spot. Little does he know he's in a great spot right now. He just doesn't want to see his ace.
That's right. That's the only card.
The ace or the 9 is the only thing that can do him in. But he's got to make the call to get to that point too.
Actually, I guess a 3 would still give it to.
Right, a 3
to Joseph.
And a call. He's got 80%.
He's way ahead. What's it gonna be?
Brick on the river. That's gonna put Ben way ahead. Yeah, with the way that turned out. Yeah, where he turns more equity towards a straight draw. He's still got the flush draw to go with it. Just kind of a setup spot for Joe.
For sure.
Saw that coming with the aggressive lines he's been taking earlier, and then Ben's just got the one hand that just has him so dominated. Give Ben a pair of kings or something like that. He doesn't quite have the equity versus Joe like he did with just ace high.
Yeah, tough spot for Joe, and I like his play, to be honest with you. I think he's gonna win that hand a lot when Ben isn't holding exactly the handcuffs there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so just kind of one of those spots. Good for Joe that he had the chip lead going into it because he's still left with 12 bigs. And we've seen how some people can like maneuver these short stacks. Kim came back from down twice to what, like 6-7 bigs.
And
5.5
for
the win.
Point,
so
I think. Yeah.
finding the right spots, and finding the right spots sometimes is when you have a straight.
Pretty good situation to
with
be in. You can have
the
the
flush
redraw there.
Yeah.
But it just goes to show, Taylor, how important it is to be the covering player, to be the player with a larger stack, because you can absorb a bad beat without being out of the tournament. And that's why it's really important to just not give up on these small pots. Some of them, obviously, you're not going to win every pot, but chipping up, accumulating chips makes a big difference in these heads-up spots, because you need to be able to lose a flip. Because guess what, kid? You're going to lose at least one flip. So have a buffer there. Have some have some extra chips that you can absorb that when time comes.
Yeah, and it's not just it's more than, because there's the psychological effect too of it. I'm winning. I'm currently ahead, and like that.
Yes.
Going to it, but it's more so just you can't get knocked out if your head's up and you have more chips than your opponent.
That's right.
You cannot get knocked out on that next hand, which is always a great thing, because even when the worst part happens, you flip and you're still alive and you can still go after more. So that's the benefit. 7 high, getting it through there versus a pair of jacks. An interesting hand there, but Ben extending his lead in a spot that probably shouldn't have, but his betting line that he took got him to win that one.
It's going to be a lot of these spots where just everybody misses, and it comes down to just who's going to put that bet out there, who's going to pull the trigger.
And we kind of saw that in the last matchup too. Michael played it very passive, like, I'm going to try and make a hand, and then I'm going to try and dwindle Kim down. Kim took the opposite approach. Kim said, I'm going to make you make a hand to not get dwindled down. And just the pure odds of it works slightly in the favor of the aggressive route. And we did see it work out in Kim's favor that last match too.
And you saw there Joseph picking, again, a small overbet size. On the board, Queen 3-2 Rainbow, you can actually just choose a smaller sizing again, because it's another one of those boards that your opponent's not going to, their range isn't going to intersect well with that flop very often, and so most of their range is going to be put in difficult position by a small bet.
Likewise on a 10-10 deuce board where Ben's taken a bigger bet line, you could probably just get away with a smaller bet, but I get the vulnerability of bottom pair there, and I think that's what's kind of leading into his decision making, where it's like, I'm very vulnerable here with my bottom pair, and I'm going to just take this aggressive route.
Here we get
2
a
diamonds.
4.2 open from Joseph. Yeah, we got a diamond on diamond violence again.
And a call.
Interesting.
Oh.
So Joseph's got
a check, and does Joe take the aggressive route? He does have a double gut shot.
Yeah.
A king or a 9. I could see this kind of going in there. Especially with just over just over a pot size bet. Like, I'm not surprised by just a pure jam in this spot. We see a small bet. Does Ben raise, or does he just call?
Ben should probably just call here because it's going in on the next screen anyway. Oh, okay, well.
Yeah, I think you raise because your opponent has so many aces when they took the big line. Oh, and here he's going with the Jack-10. It's a made hand versus a draw. Will the draw come in?
Some help. Help on the river.
No help.
There it is.
Yeah, Ben's going to take that hand down and the match down. Congratulations to Ben advancing to the second round there.
Really fun match, though.
Yeah, 2 big diamond over diamond hands that really decided that one there. So very interesting.
2 players that they weren't afraid to mix it up, and they both employed a lot of overbets. I thought interesting, but they also didn't like spaz out or punch or anything like that. I didn't think there were any spots in there. And I'll say this about all our players tonight, whether they've been aggressive players or not. People have been under control. You know, they've been making good folds. They've been very controlled, disciplined players. I think knowing that the lights are on and that you're going to be on MaREC Madness live on Twitch getting us all analyzing their play. People are really bringing their A game. It was another great match.
Yeah, that was good. We did not have anyone, I guess, Queen 8, nor was the 9 of clubs in there, so we're 0 for 3 so far.
Right.
But don't you worry, there's one more match that everyone can make their guesses on. Hopefully no one's gone to bed. I probably would have been in bed if we didn't already have this prior commitment. We're 2 hours and 50 minutes in? Like we're only supposed to go like 40 minutes each. Like we are.
That's true.
We're well over our allotment here. If this Jasper Jr. Pat Barry versus Joe Ingram, the ultimate match of the night, the one that we've been saving for, if that one goes long, I don't know. I might have to call into work tomorrow and tell them I'm going to be late. But
say it's another marathon. It's MaREC Madness, and it's contagious.
So we've got King Queen guessed, King Jack, Pocket Fives again, Queen 8 from Poker Geek again guessing the prior win, 10-9, 9-6. So system. Good job getting those guesses in there. Jim.
Yep.
Jasper Jr. versus Joey. Who do you got?
I mean, I like Pat Barry, but it's freaking Joe Ingram. The guy is like such a crusher. I gotta go with our new friend of the show, Joe, for this one. But I mean, you don't
Canadian?
get to play against Joe Ingram very often. No, but he's got that Canadian nice attitude. Oh, here we go. Okay. They're jumping right in.
Yeah, we're in. We've got it.
All right. What about you? Get the official prediction in there, Taylor, before we wrap this up.
I'm going to go with Jasper Jr. I want to pick Joey, but I can't keep picking the same as you, so I'll go with Jasper Jr. I think
there will be blood.
A lot of this can come down to just card distribution and stuff like that. Jasper Jr. is no slouch. He won his way into this thing.
No.
So we did give him a tough one right away to have to deal with Joey, but I'm on the Jasper Jr. bandwagon.
There you go. Well, I think we're going to see a good battle here no matter what. Speaking of overbets, we got a Joey's pulling him out in the
right away with a gut shot draw, and Jasper folded his. What did he have? Second pair there?
Yeah, looked like it.
Yeah, that may be something he has to adapt to, because I think Joey might do that a little bit more than Jasper Jr. is expecting. So he might have to just get used to that, and there's going to be situations where he's just going to kind of have to find a little bit more calls than he's comfortable with.
Yeah,
there you have
very
the ace of spades.
Players, they're going to be employing those overbets at a much higher frequency than recreational players.
I'm excited to see how Joey approaches this heads-up match. I know he does a lot of solver work and essentially plays versus robots, if you will. But Jasper Jr. is not a robot. He's a real person. So how is he going to change his strategy when he's playing a real person and seeing how someone is reacting to all his different bet sizing and not doing exactly what GTO says in every instance?
Yeah, I'm excited. I've been looking forward to this one. I'm glad you saved it for last. This is going to be.
You're not tired?
I'm always just interested in seeing how these very experienced players play in situations like this as well.
Like here,
really click back.
Yeah, just a click back from Jasper Jr. with the Jack 10 offsuit. And Joey doesn't have that great of a hand, but does finally continue.
Position.
Yeah,
and this is the
and then now goes for big bet.
All right,
the quick fold. Yeah,
and they're exchanging some words. I'm sure that's all in fun.
I'm sure it's only curse words and unpleasantries.
Yeah.
No, I'm kidding.
Yeah, this is. You can tell they're having a good time, yucking it up.
Yeah,
in there.
Good for them.
No. This. Oh yeah, I was gonna say the one thing you want to be careful about when you're raising out of position is making it too small like that, because you're really giving your opponent the correct price to just call in position
from Jasper Jr. Right? Like
just too small.
The solvers versus a click back on so many situations is just going to call with like 100% of their range. Just choose to play in position with their equity and their equity realization that they're going to have in certain spots. Then this is an interesting one. Jasper Jr. has the 2 better overcards. Joey's got the flush and straight draw and goes for the raise and gets it through.
Yep.
Quick decisions from Joey. You can tell he's played these spots before. He's not thinking about too many of these things. He knows what actions he should be taking. And top pair.
From half, yep.
Yeah. But I imagine it's going to be a defend with ace high here in the backdoor straight draw.
Ooh,
Oh, not a defend.
No.
Interesting.
Might be tightening up. You know, when opponents don't bet as widely as GTO, then we shouldn't call as widely either. So that kind of makes sense.
That was interesting. I was expecting to see a call there, and it was tricked. And a check back on this too. Very interesting. I was expecting a little bit different from Joey, but we'll see how this plays out. We'll check on the turn as well.
Another check. Yeah.
I mean, I get it. The ace does shrivel up a bit when a queen now makes a straight, and probably just has an easy check call. But he's thinking about it. I talked about all his quick decisions, and now I'm.
I like the emoji used by Joey up there. You didn't like that? It is dirty. He's really got him in the blender here. Pat Barry's really got Joe Ingram in the blender. Yeah, he makes the call.
Yeah.
You love to see it, though.
Gotta have fun when you're playing this game, right?
Now let's see. 2 4s on the board.
This was a limp and then a 4x raise by Joey.
Now I wonder if Joe has any limps at this stack depth. That might have been a candidate.
Might have been a candidate. I'm going to assume he's just going to be raising a lot, and maybe later we'll see some limps out of him. But we're 70 bigs effective at this point. I think he's going to be playing a lot of raises instead of limps.
A lot of shared cards tonight.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I guess it's going to happen in a certain...
A lot of potential for chopped pots then, Jim.
Oh, good.
Oh, goody.
Yeah, how exciting for everyone. Taylor's just excited because he found his new ringtone.
Honestly, everyone, I think, has been trying to clip that, and they're going to save this, and they're like, oh my gosh, Taylor, you've done so amazing. I must use this as my ringtone.
That's typically how it goes.
All right, Joey's betting no spades here, no pairs, just purely ace high for a small amount, and Jasper clicking it back.
There's that click back again.
Now, what does Joey do versus click back?
And look,
GTO's never doing the click back,
right? He's like,
it's never clicking back there, so he's putting them in spots that he's not used to.
That's right. We're taking Joey Ingram down branches of the decision tree that he's not as studied in, and that is a great way to play against more experienced players or more skilled players, is to make
pair
them
versus
play
flush
dirty.
draw with the same overcard here could get spicy. Not on the turn. Goes for a big lead here. How's Jasper Jr. going to react with a call and reverse trips?
Wow. Yep.
Oh, and he leads small. He's going to have to raise, but is that going to allow... Joey's just going to get away from it.
Yeah, Joe's not going to make the call, but interesting lead there. I wonder, does he get like a pair of 2s to fold, or like king or ace high or something?
Other spade or club draws, maybe gut shots that his opponent potentially had. But yeah, interesting to say the least.
Pat's got a hand.
Yeah.
See what the open size is here.
Sometimes King Deuce makes its way as a 3-bet bluff. Joey says no thank you. And another premium, just taking it down pre-flop.
And I think that'll... comes along.
Pat's going to defend the 7-3 off here. Just getting in a rhythm of playing hands. Maybe that's kind of affecting the decision, because I was expecting a fold from the 7-3 there.
One of the few folds, one of the few hands you might not be defending there. But
yeah. 7-3 off is only a pip better than 7 deuce off, and everyone knows how great 7 deuce off is. An ace deuce, taking a big bet here, and Jasper's just got nothing he can play with. Great. I love these spots. Small pair versus 2 overs. We'll see how this one plays out.
And you're right about Joe, just like a lot of very fast actions.
Just knows what he's doing. That go check on the flop.
I think
Jasper
it did,
check
yeah.
back his ace high. And now an overbet from Joey.
Another overbet just with the
this is
gut shot here.
The opportunity for Jasper to call down, because I think what Joey's assuming here is Jasper's never checking an ace.
Wow. Wow.
Anyone guess pocket threes for the winning hand again?
This could be it.
It could be it, right?
Oh, no, actually, he doesn't
he covers.
So this can't be,
he covers.
Wow.
So it can't be it.
What a spot.
That's pot.
What a spot.
What a river for Joey.
That's
how you get good at this game.
Yeah.
And a call.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
He
so dirty.
He had the right read, but it was just the wrong river for it. It's
right.
unfortunate.
Oh,
He checks back in a pair of aces for that exact situation, so I can't blame him for calling down there. Oh, another click back from Jasper Jr.
Oh yeah, that went 50 to 120 to 190, so that's another click back. Yeah.
Sometimes it's the software. Some people aren't as familiar with Poker Now. There's 2 buttons on Poker Now, one that says raise and then another that says raise like the minimum. So potentially could be that, but
and we should take a moment, in case it hasn't come across, how awesome it is that we've been using this fantastic tool, Poker Now, for years now for a lot of our instructional and training material. Just a fantastic product. It's free. You can talk with your friends, video, voice, control the structure of the game. It's just a fantastic program, so go and check that out. And kudos to Samuel, who set it up for us back in the day. Just a great platform.
You don't have to be part of Red Poker to use it. Anyone can use it.
It's true.
Yeah,
anyone can use it.
It's just out there for you.
Poker.now.
This seems a bit unfair for Jasper Jr.
Players.
Yeah.
You set Pat Barry up to play against Joey Ingram,
and then we give him
and
these
then
cards.
you just stack the deck against him.
Yeah.
Like, what the hell is he supposed to? Oh, well, all right. Well, no, that's actually pretty.
Hey.
That's a little better. But does Joey pull the trigger here?
I would imagine so. Like, Queen Deuce is
He got
pretty good
called
here.
by
All
the
the
pot
draws missed. Yeah, he goes all in. Jasper quickly calls, and the river 2 pair flips it back. There's Joey in distress. He thought he had him.
Oh yeah, these two are having a good time. Look at these two having a fantastic time. I love it.
What a river!
So they've been giving it to each other too. You know? I mean, this is it. So now Jasper's got Pat's got a. Oh, look, Joe can't
yeah, he's like, oh, that was it. I thought I had it.
That was the spot.
Yeah.
So now Pat's got a bit of a chip lead, but still very, very even. And it's anybody's game.
Yeah, but I mean, we've already seen a lot of big sizes from Joey, so Joey is really dictating the pot size in a lot of these spots. So, like, even look at this, like, we're putting in almost 400 chips there, and he's just got 2 overs.
Yeah, he's blocking some 7s. He's got an 8 in his hand, so that's something, I guess.
Yeah.
But
so there's something to it, but he is very much dictating the pot size. Like, this could be a quick match as we go through it. I don't think some of the other ones we saw kind of slow down as it went on and kind of methodically try and play against each other. I don't think that's going to be the case with this one. I think there could be some big punches early and often.
I will say Joey's emoji game is also very strong.
Yeah, he's flipping those
up
emojis.
the avatar. Yeah,
I feel like now he should have the
window.
scared scream face after that 6 on the river. That allowed Jasper to even the playing field. Pair plus flush draw for him.
Oh yeah, no, there we go. So I think we're just gonna call it here.
Yeah, Joey's been attacking a lot of weaknesses. Whenever Jasper's taking a check line, we're seeing Joey kind of attack it, and now he gets.
Yeah, I can't argue with the click back there. It's a very strong, and we're basically playing the draw there. So
yeah,
can't argue with that. And I think Joey's probably reading a lot of strength into pass raises here.
I think so too. Yeah. And he's also, I think, reading a lot of weakness in when he's checking back. Like, even the spot where Jasper checked back the aces, he was going for that bluff with the pair of threes. And he took a hand that can add a lot of equity. Well, this is unfair for Jasper. Jacks versus ace deuce, and then this is the board. But he's taking a hand that has some equity, but none currently, or very little currently, and using it as bluffs. And then he got there on the river, but Jacks now gets a little bit more equity. What's Joey gonna do for bet size here?
Yeah, it's a tricky spot.
Oh, Jasper leads. He is blocking the nuts.
Yeah, he was leading. He was leading on the.
But I don't think Joey can ever fold, so we see the call. But now what on the river? One pot size bet. We've got jacks. You can't feel good about it. Check. Does Joey go for value? Does he just check behind?
I don't know if I'm picking up a physical tell on Pat, but he didn't look very comfortable there as he was checking. He was sort of like moving around in his seat.
And here he folds to the jam.
Yeah, correctly.
Correctly, yeah. I mean, with jacks there, like, you can't feel too good about that specific spot. I think with jacks there, you either continue the bluff line and jam on the river because you block king jack, or you're checking for the hope that you can go to showdown.
Yep.
But even at a showdown, like on a check, I don't think you win all that often in that spot either.
Yeah, and you can see the larger bet sizes are having an effect because you can't, when your opponent's making bigger bets like that, you can't call as often with your draws. You can't bluff as often with your raises. It does make you kind of like just stop and reconsider your options a little bit. And it does kind of handcuff you a little bit.
And Joey's back to having heart eyes in the situation, so he's happy and loving how stuff has played out for him outside of that rivered 6, I guess.
I think Joey might have actually rigged up like a window into his soul there. I think those are actual reflections of how Joey.
Ooh, and here comes a raise from Jasper Jr.
Oh, there's that bluffy raise. Yeah, taking the flush drop very aggressively. You'll love to see it.
Yeah,
you'll love to see it.
You really define where you're at there, because like, what can Joey call that isn't an ace in that spot? And you kind of just get everything else to fold out. And even if they call with an ace, you still have equity against it. It's that same concept that Joey used against him previously with the pocket threes. Yep. And now Joey's got his eyes set on the money of MaREC Madness.
That's right. He's coming for the top prize.
The top prize. You told him what the top prize is, right?
I'm not sure that actually came up in the conversation.
Interesting.
Okay. Yeah, bragging
he'll find out.
Your friends.
He'll find out.
Someone's gonna find out.
Tough spot for pocket deuces there. It gets bluffed off the hand by just ace high, but tough to fault him there on that board. It's just one of those really awkward spots that makes playing low pocket pairs tough.
They're very hard to improve. You just don't improve very often with them, and at the end of the day, they're just one pair.
This time, I don't think aces is going to get a walk here. To me, it doesn't feel like it. Yeah.
Ooh, smooth call. Oh no.
Someone called the ambulance, but not for Joey. jeez.
but not for me.
Yeah.
Oh God.
Jeez. Jasper. Yeah. He goes for
he
the
gets
check
the
raise.
in there. I mean, I don't see any way that this.
I mean,
even if he had raised
yeah.
pre-flop, it wouldn't make any difference. Joe's coming along with Queen King. Now they are.
Yeah, he's just dead, and I don't know how he gets away from it.
No. Now there's too much in the middle.
Yeah, like Joey's got King Jack, he's got Ace Jack, he's got Queen Jack.
Oh yeah.
Oh, now you don't want to have Jack, but so much is already in the middle.
I guess if you had 9-10, now you've got a better two pair, but that's the.
I was gonna say, do you just check and call? But he bets almost all in. Joey goes all in, and
he's got it. Wow, what a setup! We knew there was going to be a setup tonight. We knew one of these was going to go that way.
Unbelievable.
That's too bad. That's too bad for Pat Barry. But I mean, great. Some big hands there. I can't believe that one went back and forth. And you called it, Taylor. You said this one's going to be a bombastic, big bet.
We saw so many big bets, and it was just another catalyst to have King, Queen versus Aces and that flop. So, yeah, that match wasn't going to go much further than that. But we did have our first winner, Rec Poker Rob, guess King, Queen. So, hey! Rec Poker Rob, email info@rec.poker to claim your prize.
That's right. Rob,
go there. We'll hook you up.
Rec.poker.
We'll hook you up with a prize. So congratulations, Rec Poker Rob. No 9 of clubs though, so the 9 of clubs was only lucky for you many years ago, Jim. But you keep holding on to that.
There's always next week. Maybe we'll draw a new card next week for the mystery card of power.
So true. So true.
And I mean, this was amazing. Great people in the YouTube chat. That's fantastic. Getting some new faces in there. Still YouTube chat, the Twitch chat.
Chat. Yeah, we're on a different platform. Usually we put you on YouTube for the podcast. This is on Twitch. We still have 16 people watching, so that's great. I mean, it's 1 a.m. on the east coast of Canada. It's only 9 p.m. for people out in Vegas or stuff like that. But thanks everyone for tuning in. This was only the first of 4 weeks of MaREC Madness. So come on back next Tuesday. We're going to do the same thing with the other first round matchups. You'll be able to watch yours truly play in his first round matchup, plus 3 other great matchups as well. But I know which one I would tune in for. Just kidding. Just kidding. No, they're all great. Like it's going to be a ton of fun as we go through this. This is only the tip of the iceberg. So thanks. Thanks everyone that competed in MaREC Madness. Allows us to do this. It's not easy to go under the lights of people criticizing your play, critiquing what you're going through. But I think everyone played really well tonight. It was really interesting to see the different strategies. And we had 4 people advance to the next round. So congratulations to them. And anything else, Jim, before we sign off here?
I just want to say thanks to everybody in the Twitch chat and to all our participants, but mostly Taylor Maas. This is a huge project that you put together every year. Your efforts are prolific. You work really hard on this. It takes a long time. It takes a lot of detail work, and it's very impressive that you pull it off. So thank you to you, sir, and keep making it look easy. You're kicking butt.
We'll keep making it look easy. Next week, same time, same place, twitch.tv/RecPoker. If you missed it, go check out YouTube, the Rec Poker YouTube channel. You can catch up on all the action in any weeks that you potentially missed. But that'll be it for us tonight. Thank you, Jim, for joining me in the booth. Thank you for all of our 8 participants that played tonight. Congratulations to the 4 that advanced. We'll see you in a day if you want to watch the Twitch stream, because I'll be back live tomorrow night for the normal Twitch stream. Otherwise, a week from tonight, we'll see you for week 2 of MaREC Madness. Peace out.
Bye, everybody.